of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and he felt, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. So who can tell me this? I ask you this question. When a person says, I am not worthy, but you're in front of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and this is your last few days about Muhammadan Muraqabah, if you're sat in front of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and you're thinking, I'm not worthy, on a scale of 0 to 100%, 0 being, this scale is the remembrance of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. 0, he's forgot himself completely, and 100% he's in the remembrance of the Prophet ﷺ. 100% he remembers himself and has forgot the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And 50% he's remembered half the Holy Prophet ﷺ, half himself. So which do you think the person who says, I'm not worthy, where do you think they are on this scale? Are they in the remembrance of the Prophet ﷺ only and forgot themselves? Hands up if you think this is right. Okay, hands up if you think they have remembered the Prophet ﷺ and they've completely forgot themselves. Or the other way around, they forgot themselves completely and remembered the Prophet ﷺ. Are they there? Or are they in the middle, 50-50? They're somewhere in the middle. So where do you think you should be? On this scale, forgot the Holy Prophet ﷺ, remembered yourself. This is the first one. Middle, 50-50. And the end, only he's immersed in the remembrance of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and he forgot himself. Where do you think he should be? The last one. So the person who says that I'm not worthy and so on, you're remembering the me, and you need to forget me. You need to forget yourself. Focus fully on the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the one who you're with, and forget yourself. That is how you can then go further. So you have to take your I out of the equation. So inshallah, if a person does that, that's a hidden blessing or a hidden quality within all of these messages that you read that is to an extent, inshallah, there for this person that we read about. So inshallah, can I just see a raise of hands who followed the Facebook videos, the clips and the PDFs that Brother Shoaib did? Can I see a raise of hands who followed them? So not many? Can I see nice and high who? So there was a few, mashallah, so that's excellent. So for those of you, majority seem you haven't because you've been in Itikaaf and busy here, mashallah, which is very good. Brother Wasim, inshallah, will play a 5-minute video which will show many of the places that were visited by the brothers, alhamdulillah, and many of the mazarats. The place of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam where he's buried. They allowed us they opened the door and allowed us in to touch the blessed grave. No other blessed grave of Prophets alayhi salam were we ever allowed to touch, except this one. And what a wonderful thing, you know, a person to be able to be such close to a Prophet, peace be upon him. The Prophets, Ibrahim alayhi salam, it's called Masjid Ibrahim, this one enormous mosque in Hebron. And in there, the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam is buried, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, his blessed wife Hazrat Sarah radiallahu anha, and Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam, and his blessed wife. Such wonderful personalities that are buried here, one cannot imagine. And to have the opportunity to go, you all have the opportunity. This is the truth, that every one of us has the invitation from Allah Azza wa Jal to go to Makkah Sharif, Medina Sharif, and Masjid al-Aqsa. It is for you to accept. It's not that you've not been invited. You have all been invited. So, inshallah, let's play the video so that you're aware of some of the places and the wonderful scenes that we are referring to, inshallah. And then I will share some of the messages from different Anbiya alayhimus salam and pious predecessors, inshallah.
دربي شكرا واقتدر بي شكرا شكرا يا رب شكرا يا ربي شكرا
We're on the way to the blessed lands of Palestine, we're making wonderful thing with everyone is invited. So in a similar way, you are also invited, and hopefully one day you'll accept it.
يا منزل القرآن يا خالق الإنسان يا رب يا رحمن شكرا يا رب شكرا يا رب يا منزل القرآن يا خالق الإنسان يا رب يا رحمن شكرا يا رب شكرا يا ربي شكرا
Please go ahead. Go. Yes.
شكرا يا ربي شكرا هديت قلبي شكرا نورت دربي شكرا شكرا يا رب أنا بصلاتي أسلم وبالسعادة أفخر بأني مسلم شكرا يا رب يا خالق الأكوان يا رب يا رحمن أكرمني بالغفران.
Remember the hadith of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that anyone left his home by the attention to come to pray. See, it's mean, it's not just which we call it Bab al-Nabi, the type al-Burak, and from that wall to the other wall where he make his first prayer as Imam with 100.
يا ربي شكرا هديت قلبي شكرا نورت دربي شكرا شكرا يا رب شكرا يا ربي شكرا هديت قلبي نور يا ربي واستر يا ربي عيبي واغفر يا ربي ذنبي دوما يا رب شكرا يا دايم مدى الزمان أكرمني بالإيمان واغفر لي يا منان دوما يا رب شكرا يا رب دايم مدى الزمان أكرمني بالإيمان واغفر لي يا منان دوما يا رب يا ربي شكرا هديت
Spirit of Allah or the angel brings the closing to you.
دربي شكرا شكرا يا
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihil kareem. So inshallah, there's just snippets in this video. And now what I would like to do is share some messages from various Anbiya alayhim salam and others as well. But I will always be asking this question at the end. That the most important question is this. And this should be your mindset for all of your spiritual experiences. What is the practical message that I can extract from this experience? What is the practical message? Then, am I going to go and practice it? Because if a person doesn't go and practice it, then this experience has not benefited you. So, let me read one, inshallah, and I'll elaborate a little bit because there isn't enough time for all of them. And some of you have read some of these. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, when visiting Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, the seeker mentions that the Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam mentions this. What Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in the Holy Quran is the summary of the life lessons of the prophets. There are other lessons, but these are the ones which you must apply the most. So the lessons in the holy lives of the Prophets ﷺ are not for them. They are not here anymore in the physical world. The life lessons in there, the summary is for me and you. The lesson in there is for me and you. There are other lessons, but these are the ones which you must apply the most. To extract more lessons, only think about the preparation it would have taken for us to reach the levels we did. So just think when Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, when Zulaykha came to him and tried to seduce him, and he turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah helped him. Imagine you in that situation, very beautiful woman, no one else around, she wants you, and you're turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and seeking refuge in Allah even against your nafs there. To do that, what Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam is saying is much preparation was required in his early life. Preparation was required. And what he alayhi salam is saying to me and you is that your life is a preparation for your future as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preparing you. So never think that all the things I've been through, I've gone through them for no reason. You've gone through them, you're on a journey. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preparing you for great things. So many times people come into the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they say, I am 30 years old, 40 years old, and 60 years old. I have lost so much time. You are dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the being who turns your bad deeds into good when you do tawbah. So there is nothing to become hopeless about. But if a person has jealousy in them, the good deeds become bad. The good deeds, this is what happens without purification. So he then mentions, even we required preparation, and Allah Azza wa Jal prepared us in our early lives. You hear about this life of Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam in his early life. From very young age, he was very beloved. Everyone loved him, except some of the brothers who were jealous. And what does this show? It shows so many things, but sometimes you might do everything right, and still people will turn against you. So who is it that you should only try to please? Is the one being which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever takes you to Allah. Don't try to please the world. If you try to do that, then that is the path to being misguided. My life is a journey that begins with preparation for great things, to lead, to save, and to free others. He mentions three things. To lead, he became a leader. To save people, so he saved them. What does this mean? Can someone tell me, what do you think that to save means? Because to save and to free others sounds like a similar thing. But to save them, what does that mean? Exactly, he was referring to saving them from Jahannam, saving them from the fire of hell. Not only the shackles of the people of the time, but the hellfire ultimately. To free them, it means to allow you to follow what you were created for. Because you've become trapped, or I've become trapped by shaitan and nafs and other things. The purpose of my life, I'm not achieving, I'm not attaining. But to free you so you can follow and achieve the purpose of your life, which is the closeness and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he's freeing them. Some of you will have the worst starts in life, but you will have the biggest changes to mankind. So this message is to you. So never think that as a child, I had this, I went through this, I went through this, I had this problem, my wife passed away, my child passed away, my mother passed away, as is the case with some. You may have had the worst start, but you can bring about the biggest change. I say to this one sister, she had experience of family abusing her and all sorts of things. And I said to her that what you've been through, you've come around to the other side. And now, even to an extent, she was put off the deen and so on. So she was shown, not spiritually, through just telling her what the message Allah is giving her, she was shown that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was helping her every step of the way. Every single step of the way. And then she came out the other side very positive. But all the other ladies that were going through similar thing to what she went through, they didn't have this help, this spiritual guidance. So she was told that your purpose, one of your specific purposes in life, is open a charity, a shelter for women, for sisters that have been deprived, and give them the real message of why they've been through that, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing them and guiding them. So then she had the purpose in life, and that gave her the willingness and the energy to make a difference. So she's been through the worst start, but she's going to make the biggest difference. So maybe me and you are like this as well. You've been through a difficult life, but realize that that was there for a reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preparing you for very great things like Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. So he then mentions, alayhi salam, some of you will have the worst starts in life, but you will have the biggest changes to mankind. Do not think your deprivation is a loss or a deficiency or obstacle. Rather, turn it into a plus. So you have to turn it into a plus. It's there, it's not a deficiency. You have to turn it into a plus. And there's a technique for that. There is a way. The Mashaykh teach this. It will be beneficial depending on your reaction. Your reaction is everything. Then he mentions this wonderful principle that complain to Allah about Allah and you will be misguided. But complain to Allah about your weakness, about people, about the creation. Complain to Allah about your weakness, hoping in His help, and you will be guided. So we hear this same sister that I was mentioning, there was a time she complained about Allah Azza wa Jal. All she needed was to be shown, and me and you are the same, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a message in there that is good for you. So complain about the circumstance, the situation, the people to Allah, then Allah will help you and guide you. But you complain about Allah, Allah will deprive you and the people will leave you. Complain about the people, Allah will help you and the solution will come. So, in there is great wisdom for a person. His help you will be guided. Never blame Allah. See, whoever has this mindset, Allah is to blame, instantly it's known he's on the wrong path. Any person who blames Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, instantly. This is always the wrong way. He is always on the side of believers. It is we that turn away first. He never turns away from us till we turn away from Him. So never think that you are deprived. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never deprives you. Rather, we turn away from Allah first, and then Allah might leave us. See, I mentioned in the Palestine 3 reactions to sin. And this is taught by Hazrat Saab. And imagine you don't hear answers like this, what I'm going to mention now. You don't hear these things unless you go to the Mashayikh and say to them, I have this problem, I did this wrong thing, and so on. You mention your state and your self openly. And Hazrat Saab mentioned these 3 different reactions. Now just imagine the people there, alims, ulama benefited from this. So who are we if ulama benefiting from this? Just imagine. 3 reactions to sin, and some of it is hinted in there. The first one, this is the bad reaction, the wrong reaction. That when you sin, and all of you will go home from Itikaaf and you will think, what have I attained from Itikaaf? I've committed such and such sin again. And that's the wrong reaction. So the wrong reaction is this, that when you do something bad, or that you've done something bad, you think, I'm a bad person, I don't deserve this, I shouldn't be in the Itikaaf or the retreats, I shouldn't be doing the ascension, I don't deserve to see these things. And the person thinks, I'm going to stop the good. So this is the wrong reaction. So I'll say it again, that because they've done something bad, they stop doing the good. This is the wrong reaction. What is the next one? The good reaction. This is a good reaction. The good reaction is that they have sinned, they've done something wrong, they made a mistake, but they say, oh Allah, I'm going to continue doing the same good deeds as I was doing before. I'm going to continue. I'm not going to stop. Because the good deeds should overpower the sins, and hopefully I will be forgiven. And the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that follow every bad deed with a good deed. The earth will seek forgiveness from you. But the third one is the real one, that if you really want to have sincere tawbah, you really want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you, then this one is the necessary one. The best reaction is that when a person does a sin or a mistake, they follow it with more good deeds. So when you go home and you fall into the trap of sin again, which many of us do, then you say to yourself, oh Allah, I have done this mistake, I have sinned. Now I'm going to do more good deeds to make this up. So I'm going to do more dawah, I'm going to go on more dawah trips, I'm going to come to more retreats, I'm going to do double ascension, I'm going to do double zikr, I'm going to be even better with my wife and children than I was before. That reaction you can expect to have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness, inshallah. So remember this, if you remember anything, that Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam here is saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always on the side of the believers and He never turns away from you. And this shows this. So then it was mentioned that, oh my master, the seeker says, oh my master, it is such an honor to meet you, may we kiss your blessed hands. Now in there is a message, there is a lesson as well, that in the questions, and I'll mention that after. The seeker asks, how can we benefit the most from your blessed presence today? Today we are visiting you, how can we benefit from you today? And they mention that realize the quality Allah Azza wa Jal gave me. That every Prophet ﷺ had a special quality that he was known for. One of them was the handsomeness of mankind. It could have been a devastation, but I was showed by Allah's fazl the right reaction to having extreme beauty. So he doesn't attribute it to himself. He says, I had the right reaction by Allah's fazl. Always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped me to have the right reaction. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. All of you have beauty in some way. And he's mentioning you have beauty as well. A different type of beauty. Every human being has beauty. Then he, alayhi salam, mentions sacrifice it by being modest. And the modesty doesn't just refer to the body. There's other things. There's modesty of the mind, modesty of the heart, modesty of the spirit, modesty of the all organs. So, but what that is something the mashayikh teach. If I did not, where would I be now? All beauty is temporal. Everything has to end. The physical beauty of humans only ever decreases, so do not hold on to something with your heart which is temporal. So if you want to benefit from Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, then today, this day, never attach yourself to anything which is temporary. Only attach your heart to that which is permanent. What is permanent? Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is permanent, and whatever Allah gives permanence. Paradise, prophets, messengers. The last things which he mentions, become connected to that which is permanent. The face of Allah Azza wa Jalla is permanent. He is forever. His beauty is the beauty to aim for. Then you will. So now comes the important question. The important question for you is this. What is the practical message in this? Because I can tell you the person who experiences this is one of their reactions. They will extract all of the practical actions from these, which you will hear, put them into a sheet like the tongue sheet, eye sheet, and so on, make 5, 10 levels, however many, and practice them every day. The self-development and the improvement never ends. You may as well continue it till death. It never ends. Even after death, continue. What does that mean? That means that there is a sunnah after death. There is a sunnah after leaving this world that the Holy Prophet ﷺ is doing, and the mashayikh want to do that as well. And who aims to do the sunnah in that world when they're not doing the sunnah in this world? Who can tell me? What is the sunnah in the grave? Can anyone tell me? Yes, hands up. Salah isn't the sunnah in the grave. No, it's not worship, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will mention that now is not the time for worship. Many of you have experienced this already. What is the sunnah in the grave? Yes. Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam is giving it right now. Yes, mashallah, guiding the ummah. So they are still guiding the ummah even beyond death. So you should have this intention that after my death, I also need to and must guide the ummah. So that is sunnah beyond death. Never mind in the world. So this is what I want you to do now. I want you to stand up, not just yet, meet someone in the room you haven't met before. Because all of you are brothers, and unity, as you will see, the success of any dawah trip, any jamaat, underlying is unity. When there's unity between one another and all the group, there will be success. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives barakah. But when there is lack of unity, Allah's help will be lifted. And it cannot be emphasized enough. There is unity between all the prophets and messengers. So meet somebody in the room you've not met before. So you can stand up and do this. And then you will both summarize the practical, not anything else, just the practical guidance from this blessed message. And if you can't remember it, then notes a person should be taking, inshallah. Otherwise it will be like a dream for you. And you will see that one of them will say it'll become like a dream. So now inshallah, stand up, all of you. Meet someone in the room that you've not met in this entire 10 days. And I'm going to give you 1 minute to summarize this message, the practical guidance. So bismillah, off you go, inshallah. Done? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So inshallah you can stay sat where you are. So who would like to summarize now that you've summarized it with a partner, inshallah, that you've not met before? The group, the pair can summarize. Otherwise I'll just choose someone, inshallah. With Usman, mashallah, you would like to share? Inshallah, the mic is coming. So it's more beneficial that you take away some practical guidance than rather than overwhelming you with all of the guidance.
Assalamu alaikum. I've not got many points. I've probably just got 1 or 2. But what I'd like to say is that one practical you can take into your own life is that Hazrat Yusuf mentioned that everyone has beauty in their own way. And, whether it could be anything, and you'll get tested by it. So rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, like Hazrat Yusuf got tested by Zulaika. And they asked Allah for help. So whatever the beauty could be in your life, that might be a test for you as well. So when that test does come, then realize it's a test and ask Allah for help, and inshallah you should come through it. Mashallah. That's one thing I took from it. And the other thing I was going to say, but it's gone in my head now.
Mashallah. So wonderful, jazakallah. 1 or 2 other people, and then we'll move to a different one, inshallah. Jazakallah. Mashallah. So yes, inshallah, don't be shy. When it comes to sin and disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one should be shy. When it comes to sharing messages and helping others, one shouldn't be shy. The first one, Brother Usman here is the first one. Every single one of you now that mentions something, and anyone who follows it becomes guided by it, inshallah he'll get a part of the reward. Because he mentioned it first, he had the bravery to mention this is my understanding. And if he had the wrong understanding, he would be corrected. But everyone else who had the wrong understanding can't be corrected. So inshallah, don't be shy, but rather try to take a part of the blessing, inshallah. So anyone else like to share? Yes, mashallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, what we said was to take away the practical from it is instead of just listening to these stories and we get happy at the time and feel blessed, actually put it into your life and practice it as well. Instead of just listening and being happy at the time, feeling high iman at the time.
That's excellent, exactly, mashallah. Many people just read the stories but they don't take the lesson. Okay, wonderful. One more and then inshallah we'll move on.
I'll go to my partner, so he'll have something to say.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's most important that whatever you got, whatever quality you have, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's nothing to do with you. If you are beautiful, rich, poor, disabled, able, whatever you are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from there, you should take what I can, this quality, where can I use it and how can I benefit the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah. So now just imagine there were thousands and thousands of people visiting Masjid al-Aqsa. But these people who receive messages like this, to become or to even have access to something like that, how a person has this, you all are on the path to attaining this type of thing, but even then, that word is the wrong word, to attain. Why? Because we don't attain anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the bestower. But the real truth is that the path to these prophets and messengers and to meeting them is only because of one person. Who do you think this one means is? There are many people, they are all worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal, they are all visiting prophets and messengers, they all believe in prophets, in the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But there's one thing which is different between these people who go like this, who go for, what was the purpose these people have gone for? What have they gone for ziyarah or have they gone for something else? Yes, brother. They've not gone for themselves, yes, brother. They've gone for dawah. They've gone to help, exactly what Hazrat Yusuf mentioned, to save others, to free others, to lead. They didn't go for themselves. If they went for themselves, then they could have been anywhere else in the world. They could have been here, they could have been home for yourself. But to save and help the people there. So go for dawah, go for spreading the message. Ziyarah was not even the necessary thing. Do you know how many places a person can visit in the whole Jerusalem? There's more than 100 ziyarats to visit, more than 100. The places where prophets and messengers walked. Even the Christians, they go there, the Jewish people go there, the Muslims go there. In one place where Hazrat Dawud buried, is an enormous castle, huge castle. And Hazrat Dawud's blessed mazar is there. There are Jewish people in there singing and reciting certain things. Then there are Christians going up the stairs and they're going to the place where they believe Hazrat Isa alayhi had the Last Supper. There is the actual route where when the person, there was a miracle done, Hazrat Isa alayhi was taken to the heavens, someone else was given the face of Hazrat Isa alayhi as a miracle. They crucified him instead. And the path that he walked, that path is there. There is the church where Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu went to, but he didn't pray in the church. He prayed somewhere else so Muslims don't overtake the church. You can walk on the blessed places where you know this city is so alike how it was thousands of years ago. The Israelis don't allow any changes without planning permission. They don't even allow smallest of changes. So you can walk the city as though this was the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He came here like this. It was similar. Very, very similar. So just imagine. So this is a message now, inshallah. Look, how many times do we recite Durud Ibrahim? How many times in the day? But how many people know the message Hazrat Ibrahim would give you? And listen to the message very carefully, because the message is there are many levels and every one of you can fit into the level. So Bismillah, I begin. The seeker mentions, as I entered the blessed mazar, this is one of the things which we did. when we visited one mazarat, one blessed shrine, when we went to the next one, we read all of the guidance from the previous one at the blessed mazar of the next. So when we went to Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, then it was written up, we went to Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam or Hazrat Sarah radiallahu anha next. When we sat there, we read the guidance from Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. Then we did the muraqabah and the amals that Hazrat Sahib and the Mashaykh have given at that blessed mazar. Then that guidance was given. Then we went to the next blessed mazar and read the previous guidance there. So the holy people are listening to you share guidance from their own family members as well. What a wonderful thing. So, because all of you, what this shows is everyone needs gradual progression. You can't have everything in one go. You need gradual. So don't expect from yourself everything in one go. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't expect that. So this is Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam said, so the Sikh is saying, as I entered the blessed mazar, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam spiritually pulled all of us into his mazar, and we entered a different world, and he alayhi salam said, enter my world. We entered into a simple house. There was food on the table. The food was coming flying in the air with no waiter serving. It was like manna wa salwa from the heavens, as mentioned in the Holy Quran. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, they said, you are my children more than many of my children today. Imagine all the people there, the Jewish, Christians, Muslims, the Arabs, and the non-Arabs, the Bani Israel, all of them. They're all his children. And he's saying, you are my children more than the children, my real children of today. This means that you, all of you here, as well can be the children of Hazrat Ibrahim Islam, in his sight more than his real descendants. And that is a great honor. He said, our love is not for our descendants, but it is for our true followers. Our true followers are our heirs, and you will be protected by me on a day when they will bear no protection. So they will have no protection, their descendants, some of them, but you will have protection because you followed him. I offer you all my intercession for coming and visiting me today. SubhanAllah, just imagine being said that by a prophet, alayhi salam, that I offer you my intercession because you visited me today. Can I see who would like to visit Hazrat Ibrahim Islam? So inshallah, everyone's hands are up. Who would not like to visit? But let me tell you this, the people that went there didn't go there for intercession. They didn't go there for the basharats and the blessings. They went there for the mission. They went there to do a mission, and the reward is an add-on, is a bonus, is not even their purpose and objective. So don't become the person after the fruits, be the person after the effort. Be the one after the effort, the work, the mission, and then the fruits will come after, inshallah. So the Sikh said, oh my master, how can we please you more? Look at the questions again. The question in there are lessons. He said, alayhi salam, complete your path to Allah Azza wa Jal, each one of you. So every one of them had to restart their journey or refresh it or know where they are and where they're going. Their marriage, their family life, their every aspect of life, and especially the most important, their journey to Allah. Each one of them, each one of us. It would be a shame for you to live by the river and drown of thirst. Rather, drink to your fill, then fill your buckets and take for others. Drink to your fill your buckets and take for others. Even better is to make a pipe to travel and transport to local towns and cities. This is the example of Dawah. So these people came for Dawah, and Hazrat Ibrahim Islam is giving them advice on Dawah. And what was the first thing he gave them? He offered intercession. He then said, some convey, but they do not drink themselves, and they are deprived and misguided, though they preach the truth. So he, alayhi salam, is mentioning that some of them, they convey the message, but they don't practice the message. And they are thirsty themselves, but they are giving the drink to others. Before you know it, they will die of thirst. And on the Day of Judgment, this is mentioned that there will be people going to Jahannam and people going to Jannah. They will both speak to each other. The people of Jannah will say, how is it that you are entering Jannah or Jahannam? How is it you are entering Jahannam? When we are entering Jannah because of what you used to tell us. The people of Jannah are entering Jannah because of what the Jahannamis told them. They preached to them. And they will say, the Jahannami will say, We used to preach, but we didn't used to practice. And if you have the 3 reactions to sin that I mentioned before, the right reactions, the good and the best, no sin can stop you. Because all of us have mistakes and sins. All of us. No sin can stop you. Because you will always have the best reaction, inshallah. So then they mentioned their intentions are not sincere, those people. Then there are those that drink a little and they have to drink the rest which was meant for others. So they drink a little and they have to drink, they take some drink for others, but they have to drink that as well. That they need the message more. So they go out for dawah, but they are more in need of the message themselves, so they benefit. And this is true. When we go on a dawah trip, all of the people might not be the ones doing the dawah and the message. The ones on the trip might be in need very much themselves, which is why the wisdom is take care of the people on your trip. Take care of the ones who you are traveling with. Give them the advice, the one-to-one, the help that they need as well. Because if they fall, then there'll be no message conveyed. So strengthen your brothers is what that means. Strengthen each other. Give a light to one another and strengthen your brothers and sisters. So then there are those that drink a little and they have to drink the rest which was meant for others. They are too busy falling and getting up again and again that they struggle to ever help others, but at least they may attain the mercy of Allah for trying. So this, alayhi salam, is mentioning this is a form of success. To fall, to get back up. To fall, to get back up. This is a form of success. So don't think that I am not successful because of this. This is a form of success itself. The sign of success is as soon as you fall, the quicker you get back up. How do you get back up? Who can tell me? How can you get back up? Yes, brother. Exactly. By doing tawbah with its 4 conditions, which we won't go through now, I think you've been through, and the best reaction. The best reaction. I will do more good than the bad I was doing before. They then mentioned that there are those that drink to their fill and take tanks and buckets for others. These are good and you should aspire to become like this. So become the person that does their own tazkiyah, purifies themselves, and now you fill your buckets and take for others. But can you fill one bucket? Can it feed the whole town, the city? No, it can't. You can only help a few. So then they mentioned they have completed their journey to Allah and it only ever improves, only ever gets better. Let me tell you this. The journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it doesn't just get better or improves and improves. Your life in this world gets better and better. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this in the Holy Quran where He mentions hayatun tayyibah. Hayatun tayyibah. It's not a matter of the hereafter, it's a matter of this world. And this life only ever gets better and better and better for this person. So at the same time, imagine your closeness to Allah is increasing and your life's getting better. Life getting better doesn't mean more money, more this, more that, more that. It means more contentment, more peace, more happiness, more right reactions. Let me give you one example of why. Imagine a person who has jealousy, or let's say arrogance. Person who has arrogance, he thinks he's better than everyone else. The person who has arrogance is torturing himself. He tortures himself. Why? Because when you don't praise him, when you don't say nara and shake his hand and say nice things, he gets hurt. He gets hurt and upset. Oh, they didn't praise me. Oh, they didn't say my praise. Oh, they didn't stand up for me. Oh, this or that. Oh, they don't call me Ustadh and all this. So he becomes upset. He becomes hurt. The person who is humble, when the people swear at him, he thinks to himself, you don't know half of what I've done. My sins are far greater. So he's happy and not affected at all when people swear at him. Rather, he thinks, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my other faults are hidden. He only knows one. So humbleness is peace and arrogance is torture. So now you tell me, every single good quality, is it good for you in the akhirah or is it good for you in this world? It's both. It's both. They are good for you here. So if you're not going to do it for your hereafter, at least do it for this world. At least do it for here. So this Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam is mentioning that life, your closest to Allah only improves, that with it, your happiness in this world improves as well. So, and happiness is a hidden matter anyway. Then there are those that drink to their fill, and so I mentioned this one. So, but the best is those who build pipes which are systems of guidance. You saw my food distribution service they offer every day to feed thousands of people here. What that means is that day we saw Hazrat Ibrahim al-Islam's, in his blessed remembrance, there is a food distribution service for thousands of people have free food every single day. Thousands, every day to this day, many thousands of years after Hazrat Ibrahim al-Islam's time. Why? Because his sunnah was that every time he would eat with the people. He would eat with neighbors and other people. He wouldn't let them eat on their own. So this is a quality of the Mashayikh teach of selflessness. Be love for your brother what you love for yourself. Can anyone tell me the quality higher than this? To love for your brother what you love for yourself. This is one level. What's the level beyond it? Which gives you much more peace. Yes.
And give your brother more than what you get.
Yes. To love for them more than what you get. Now imagine this. You are praying, oh Allah, give my brother Jannah, give my brother intercession, give my brother and my sister, give this person the highest rank in Jannah. You're forgetting yourself and praying for him more than yourself. This is why it's mentioned in the narrations that the one who makes dua for others, his dua, he receives it first. But you can't do it with this intention, secretly thinking, oh, I'll get it first, then I may as well pray for them. No, it has to be sincere. So, become this person, inshallah. You can become this person. This is one sunnah, but this is the sunnah of compassion on creation. He's mentioning those people who give the food, some of them, they have neglected the compassion of their souls, their spirits. They've neglected this. So feed the souls with guidance of your mashayikh, for they hold the spiritual water in your time. So Hazrat Ibrahim al-Islam is mentioning this water that he's referring to. Whose hand is it in? Whose control is it in? Who has it? Who has the tap? It's the mashayikh of this time have it. And without them, this guidance would not even be possible. This receiving this message, this connection wouldn't even be possible. They have neglected, so yes mentioned. Build the systems of guidance and it will stay for centuries. So if you build the pipes of guidance like Hazrat Sahib is doing, and this is why we should try to help the mission of the mashayikh, the workshops, the retreats, systemize them so that you can do them in your own localities without Hazrat Sahib. Hazrat Sahib shouldn't have to travel the whole world for the message to go continue and continue and continue. Me and you should be taking it upon our shoulders. It's mentioned, imagine this person, the Holy Prophet ﷺ is holding a huge bag on his blessed shoulders. And the person comes to the Prophet ﷺ and says, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. Then he does the retrieve, but he doesn't take the bag. He doesn't take the bag upon himself. Do you think the Holy Prophet ﷺ would be pleased with this person? You're doing Muhammadan Muraqabah. Do you think the Holy Prophet ﷺ is pleased just by you doing this? He is, but the one who he's really pleased with is the one who takes the bag upon his own shoulder. And he doesn't even have to say, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. He just says, Ya Rasulullah, I'm going to take it. He doesn't say, please give it to me. He says, I'm going to take it. He takes initiative. So be this person who takes it from the mashayikh and says, I will do the duty, I will share the message. So then, inshallah, the systems and the guidance will continue without them, and that's when it will become systemized. But if it doesn't happen like this, then when the mashayikh leave this world and it's not, you are not taking it upon yourself to share this message, then it could fall apart. So you need to do it whilst they are still here in this world. It needs to be systemized without Hazrat Sahib having to travel the world. So next year, Itikaaf, me and you should be taking this Itikaaf, this whole system everywhere. These retreats should be going everywhere without Hazrat Sahib. These workshops should be happening everywhere without them. Then it will be systemized, then it will continue in the future. Because we don't only think about the people of now, we think about the people of the future as well. So enough has been said, inshallah, from Hazrat Ibrahim Islam's guidance. There is more, but I want to mention this part. He mentioned, the seeker said, oh my master, what can we do to follow your blessed footsteps more? Again, look at the question. What can we do to follow you even more? Hazrat Ibrahim Islam said, do not befriend your nafs as most mankind fall prey to it. The enemy of the nafs is Allah, and Allah is the enemy of the nafs. So you must choose. If you choose your nafs, you have taken Allah Azza wa Jal as your enemy. And if you take Allah Azza wa Jal as your friend, then you have taken the nafs as your enemy. This was my choice when most others chose the nafs. So you must choose. If you choose the nafs as your friend, you should know automatically, I have made Allah my enemy. Like Shaitan did. What did he do? He worshipped his nafs and he said, I am better. This was his nafs speaking. He took Allah as his enemy, Allah Azza wa Jal exiled him. So don't take your nafs as your friend, take it as your enemy. It is your enemy. You cannot be the friend of your nafs and the friend of Allah at the same time. Not possible. It then mentioned that we then embraced and kissed the blessed feet of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, and they instructed me to give salam to the father, referring to the teacher of Tariqah Muhammadiyah, Hazrat Shaykh Ahmad Abba, and said, I look forward to their visit again. So inshallah there's indication maybe Hazrat Sahib will visit in the future. But let me tell you this. Is it you to put your hand up? Is it better to visit with the mashayikh? Or is it better to visit with a group of brothers on your own, under the guidance of mashayikh, taking the message forward? Which one do you think is better? So hand up if you think visiting with the mashayikh is more afsal, and you're only going to do ziyarats and visitations, and you're going to work on yourself. Okay, put your hand up if you think being sent on your own by the mashayikh to convey the message, to do dawah, to help others, this is more afsal. Well, this is the one, so you all agree. So that means don't wait that, oh, when is Hazrat Sahib going? I will go then. Don't wait for that. Then rather say that I am ready, inshallah, if Allah wills, we will do dawah, we will take the message. And wherever the mashayikh instruct, you will go, inshallah. And take initiative. So the same thing now, inshallah, the guidance from Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, 1 minute, inshallah. What I want you to do is meet someone in the room who is, or meet someone in the room, you have to find someone in the room who is younger than you. Find someone in the room younger than you and hold them, say, brother, I found you first, you're my partner now. So find someone in the room who's younger than you and then share the message with them. Quickly, the quicker you do it, the quicker you find a pair. One of you will be older, one of you will be younger. Whoever finds the other first, you found. Yeah. Threes is fine. Mm-hmm. Now you can summarize, yes. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, mashallah. So one person mentioned practical guidance from Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. So, inshallah, let's have a few of the people. How about yourself, brother? Yourself. Can you share? Are you sure? Somebody else? Inshallah. Are you sure? You have it in you, inshallah. You've been discussing it.
Assalamu alaikum. So I guess the message is to do the dawah and use your own initiative
take the message to your community, to your family, and don't wait to be asked.
Yes, mashallah, excellent practical message in there. So, mashallah, Brother Ibrahim, you had your you had your hand up. So, mashallah, one more and then we'll move on, inshallah. To a message from Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jilani.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
We learned a lesson from Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam that we should show compassion towards the creation. No matter how we convey the message, it should spread.
Yes, excellent, mashallah, exactly. It doesn't matter how much you have, you give. When Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam was in the fire of Nimrod, he had this enormous fire in his blessed story, it's mentioned. A bird, so many animals, they tried to put out the fire to extinguish it. Now, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam was not affected, rather he mentioned it was one of the most peaceful times being in that fire. So this bird is mentioned, the bird with the beak tried to take water to extinguish the fire. And it was asked to the bird that, oh bird, why are you trying? Because you know you can't extinguish this enormous fire. It's the size of, Allah knows best how big it is, the size of a town or so. And the bird said, I only want my name to be in the list of the creations that try to help the friend of Allah. The friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So just do the part you can. So this is a message, and look at the title is Guidance from Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahimahullah on benefiting from all the sights and ilham secrets on the history of the blessed rock, the dome of the rock on which the Holy Prophet ﷺ ascended. Some history. We go there spiritually in salah and so on, but now physically being there and learning the story and the history behind it. Why is the blessed rock? Why is that? Why did Allah SWT take the Prophet ﷺ there? Why there of all places? Then the question is, okay, why? This is the station of ascension. Angels come and go. Why was that chosen for angels to ascend and descend? And then the answer comes. Then the question, you see, question after question, a person can ask and learn more and more. And you find. So the first question was, how can we benefit from the sacred sites more? Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani mentioned, visit them and do what the personality did there. Most these places are places of intimacy and connection with Allah Azza wa Jal, the Lord of the worlds. And the one that was right beside us was the station. Hazrat Maryam alayhi salam did her khalwat there, her seclusion. This is where we slept near there. Literally the distance from here to the staircase. That's where we stayed. Where Hazrat Maryam alayhi salam, one of the greatest friends of Allah and greatest women of all time, she will be the wife of the Holy Prophet thereafter, the mother of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, family of prophets. So imagine, we were there. Most of these places are places of intimacy and connection with Allah, Lord of all the worlds. So become connected to the place, become connected and the place of earth there will benefit you. Become connected to Allah Azza wa Jal, not to the place. Focus on the place too much is not the objective. Focusing on the place is not the objective. That's what Hazrat Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani is mentioning. The place is not the objective. How many people come back from these blessed places, Makkah Sharif, Medina Sharif, and they're upset, oh, I miss it. And if they knew the path to Allah, they would never say these things. Why? Why? Can anyone tell me? Why wouldn't they say this? Yes, Brother Shafiq. And Allah is with you now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with you now. He was with you then. So if Masjid al-Aqsa was your objective, then you've made the wrong objective. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the objective. So did the Holy Prophet stop at Masjid al-Aqsa? No, he went there and he continued. He continued until he reached the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala where there was no further place to go. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from time and place. So then it was mentioned, focus on the place too much is not the objective. Allah Azza wa Jalla is the objective whilst being present at the site. Be present there and be in the presence of Allah. The site can only benefit you when you are in the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jalla. That is like the switch. So like we have a switch here, if you come to Medina Mosque here, you don't turn the lights on, it's all dark. You can't see anything. You won't find your way. So similarly, the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a switch. If you want to travel the journey to Allah, there is a switch as well. And the remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jalla is a switch. But what does remembrance of Allah mean? Remembrance of Allah is different in every situation. Every scenario is different. So one should realize this. What remembrance of Allah means different things. And to truly be in Allah's remembrance, a person needs to be in the company what Allah says in the Holy Quran. What does Allah say about remembrance of Allah, about the straight path? Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Oh Allah, guide me onto the straight path. Then Allah mentions what the straight path is. So this is what remembrance of Allah is, if a person pays attention. Allah is the objective whilst being present at the sight. The sight can only benefit you when you are in remembrance of Allah. That is like the switch. The light will be on and it will reach you. But if the light is off, you will be forgotten, then only darkness will be present and you will not receive the light. So if you forget Allah and you forget the friend of Allah who took you there, who sent you there, then you're trying to benefit without the real means. Think that you have a light or a match inside you, but you need someone to ignite it. The shaykh is the one who ignites it. So without the shaykh, without the teacher, the guide, you can never be ignited. Then it was mentioned, as I traveled up, it was as though I had to go further like I was being called. The seeker says, I found myself in the presence of Allah Azza wa Jal. Then this is where the secrets begin. The seeker says, my Lord, please forgive me. I am not able to fulfill your rights and worship you as you deserve. I have so many shortcomings. So this is one showing their humbleness before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they should. It's always the way. The ilham then mentioned the voice representing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not worry, I am pleased, but focus on maintaining. So imagine hearing that Allah Azza wa Jal mentioning He's pleased with you, but then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ilham mentions what to do, that maintain it. Don't focus on that my pleasure is now, focus on maintaining. As for the others, and this is, the seeker says, I was worried that some brothers want a lot of attention and I can't give this. So the person was worried, some of the people in the trip, they want attention. They want to have that special attention. Like we're here, we want special attention of Hazrat Saab and so on. Let me tell you this, it's the nafs that wants attention. Your evil, the desire, the nafs inside you, it wants attention. The spirit doesn't want attention of anyone. It wants to be hidden. That's why you can't see it. It's hidden matter. The nafs likes attention. So if you ever find yourself wanting attention, then realize that I have a problem with my nafs. Go and mention it to the teacher, the mashayikh, and so on. They'll give you a solution. But let me tell you the wrong thing. The wrong thing is this, that I say, oh, I want attention, so I'm not going to go and give a speech. That's the wrong thing as well. So your internal reaction, your external reaction are two different things. But where is this taught? This is in the, not even in the ascension, this is in the tazkiyah, the 4 stages. This person who you're reading about, one thing I want to say is 99% of their attention is on the 4 stages. They focus on there, 99%. 1% of their attention is on these matters, on the ascension, on the ilham, on the traveling. That shows you the ratio of the importance of focusing on your own journey, your purification. 99% attention is there. Then the 1% is this. This is like the example of a person who has glasses. If you have glasses and the glasses are very, very dirty, then you cannot see anything. You're trying to see through the glasses all the time. Well, what this person does is takes the glasses off, doesn't see anything. When he takes it off, can't see anything. He cleans the glasses until it's completely 100% clean. Then he puts the glasses on and everything becomes visible in that one moment, much, much, much more depth than the other person who's trying to see through dirty glasses the whole time. So tazkiyah, this is Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Barahmullah mentioned this in Ali Breeze, this example. So then it was mentioned to the person that from the ilham, though you are doing nothing wrong by me, their feelings towards you are important because you have an image of deen. So make them feel special and that will please me more. So even though the person not doing anything wrong, these people still want attention. Give them extra attention. The sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ is, what did the companion say? He made us feel like we were his favorite person. How many people have you made feel like they're your favorite person? We don't look at them, we look away, we just walk past. Oh, I don't need to speak to him. Every person you walk past, salam, a smile, and so on. So this is the sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He made every person feel special. And you find the mashayikh always practice this. They make every person feel special. The seeker, so you should do this too. The seeker said, "My Lord, please tell me about the speciality of the rock we saw today." So we went inside the dome of the rock, the golden dome which you see. This is the station of ascension. The Holy Prophet went inside. There was no dome then. That dome of the golden dome was not there. It was built centuries later by some of the different rulers and kings. There was a rock there, a special rock. The Holy Prophet stood upon this rock according to one narration. And from there he ascended. And what the tour guide mentioned, he led the Prophet twice in prayer. One in the Masjid al-Aqsa, the underground area that existed then. The Jamia Masjid didn't exist, where we go inside and pray. That wasn't there. It was just the land, but there was underground. He mentioned he prayed there. So imagine praying where the Holy Prophet prayed physically, and all the Prophets and Messengers prayed with him. Then he came to this blessed rock, and underneath the rock is the cave. And in the cave, he prayed there, and the Prophets prayed with him. I think you saw in the video. So this was mentioned. But now the Sikh is asking, "Oh Allah, tell us what is the significance of the rock? Because there is a reason you sent the Prophet there. What was that reason? I want to know." So what is its history? The Ilham then said, "It is one of the stations of ascension and descending of angels from heaven to earth. This is the first and most established. Even the angels of shoulders, the right and left angels, ascend from here. I wanted my beloved to bless this place with his presence. He was not in need, nor I. It was an honor to the path of angels between the realms of earth and heavens." So Allah SWT could have taken the Holy Prophet from Makkah Sharif, from anywhere. He brought him to Masjid al-Aqsa, the far mosque, the distant mosque, to bless the angels and their path to heaven and earth. So just imagine, and the Prophet ﷺ knew as well, that there was not a single moment where the Prophet ﷺ's status was increased in this entire journey until he was with Allah SWT alone, and there was no creation. Because Jibreel benefited from the Prophet ﷺ every step of the way. He was only like a servant taking him. He was not even it's mentioned, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, Buraq didn't take the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ took Buraq. And that's the power, the power of the spirit of the Prophet ﷺ is far more powerful than any angel or any creation. And why the Buraq is out of respect, out of honor. Like you bring a car for the mashayikh, or you bring in the past a horse. The mashayikh don't need these forms of transport. They have their own. So it was a respect. Then it was said, "Are there others?" The seeker asked, "Are there other stations?" And the Ilham said, "Yes, Makkah and at the Kaaba and Mount Sinai, where Hazrat Musa alayhi salam spoke to Allah." The Ilham says, "I chose Aqsa because Makkah had more disbelievers and Aqsa had believers from Bani Israel." So this shows you that if you want to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if you're in a good place like in the UK, you can practice deen freely and so on. If you're in Masjid al-Aqsa, if you're in Makkah Sharif, Medina Sharif, you still need good company around you. And you need the good company of the ones who can take you further. Not just the ones who are similar to you, the one who can take you further. The Prophet ﷺ wasn't in need of them, but we are in need of those who take us further. A thought then entered my mind, the seeker says, about the 3 significant sites in Islam. And without asking, the Ilham continued. The Ilham said, "Al-Aqsa is the heart of the Ummah, and Makkah is the mind of the Ummah. The mind will always be protected. Your intellect is always protected. If your intellect goes, you become mad. Sharia is not applicable on you. But the heart is something else. The mind will always be protected because it knows right from wrong." So Makkah Sharif is always protected. But the heart is what the nafs tries to dominate. The nafs doesn't try to dominate your mind, it tries to dominate your heart. When it gets the heart, it tries to get the mind as well. Then I thought of Medina Sharif. The Ilham says, "Medina is the eyes of the Ummah. The eyes are needed to stay rightly guided, so they too will be protected." So Medina Sharif is protected, Makkah Sharif is protected. It's mentioned that Dajjal cannot enter them, but he can enter Masjid al-Aqsa. He will try to make Jerusalem his center of the world to control. Why? Because it represents the heart of the Ummah. So now Every single one of us should be going. There are 1.6 billion Muslims in the world, and there are only it's mentioned 100 million Jewish people in the world. To 1.6, and they try to show you that, oh, it's a dangerous place, there's this happening, that happened. Hardly those things are happening where Masjid al-Aqsa is and where the Muslims and believers are going. They are there to protect and preserve the place, but it's very, very safe. If you provoke them, they will do something. You don't provoke them, they won't do anything. So when the whole 1.6 billion Muslims of the world go and visit, then inshallah, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give it back in the hands. That means the heart of the ummah will be back in the hands of the Muslims. Right now, the heart of the ummah is in someone else's hand. So that's something to think about. So this is guidance from Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani regarding benefiting from the sites, and then the ilham mentioning the hidden secrets behind it. So do you want to summarize this again? Because without summarizing, you won't take the message away. So this time, inshallah, I want you to find someone who you've not met before and is not from your town. So you have to find who is not from my town, meet someone who's not from where I live, and someone you've not met before. So you can't even be sitting down. You have to get up and meet somebody else. It can't be the people around you. Go to the other side of the room, inshallah, and then summarize this guidance for us. Jazakallah. Bismillah, off you go. You have to stand. Find someone. Brother Ansar? Ansar, can you play the video whilst they do that? Junaid, can you remember? Are you thinking? Okay. The Muhafir. Riyaz, have you done? You done? Okay, mashallah. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So Alhamdulillah. So one practical message from the guidance Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani gave, or the history. In the history, there is not always guidance, there is awe, and there is love, and there is a person becomes in awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is an action of the heart. But practical actions we can take. So yes, Usman, mashallah.
One thing I'd like to mention is that when Rasulullah SAW went on the night of Miraj, Rasulullah SAW didn't benefit until they met Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but all the creation that interacted with the Prophet SAW benefited through their blessed and great company. So what practical lesson we can take is that we can also benefit by having good company as well, with the with the brothers, and stay in good company. So practical is to stay in good company and avoid obviously bad company and those people who don't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'd like to give the mic to my partner because he's got quite a few as well, mashallah. He's the brain of our team.
What's your name?
Hussein.
Yeah. Where are you from?
From Oldham.
Oldham.
Yeah.
I should have asked that as well. I didn't know to.
So basically, we were just saying to focus on Allah when you go to these sacred sites. Don't go just for the sake of sightseeing. Allah's the objective, and His pleasure is what we should be seeking.
MashaAllah, excellent, most important. In terms of benefit, what I mentioned was the Holy Prophet's status didn't increase, but the benefit until he reached Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the benefit, yes, it's mentioned that why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take the Prophet on the night journey and on the ascension? To see all of these places with his own blessed eyes. So when he comes back, it can be mentioned in such a way that nothing can stop him. If the moon was in his right hand, the sun was in his left, it would not stop the message. That's why he mentioned this hadith, mentioned this. So he sallallahu alaihi wasallam did benefit from seeing all of these things, like you benefit. In that sense, we are following the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We want to benefit by seeing so that our faith level has increased. Ilmul yaqeen, ainul yaqeen, haqqul yaqeen. So, but in terms of status and closest to Allah, until he sallallahu alaihi wasallam reached. So now, Laylatul Qadr. Just imagine, many of us are trying to attain Laylatul Qadr. But have you ever wondered what awliya Allah and the friends of Allah, sometimes what they do on Laylatul Qadr and what they experience and what they're seeing? So this is one that happened on that blessed night. And it's mentioned, the title is, what does Jibreel alayhi salam do on Laylatul Qadr? What does he do on Laylatul Qadr? And the instructions for future expeditions. So in the witr, so this is in Masjid al-Aqsa praying the witr, a special angel came to me, the seeker says, and greeted me in human form, like he comes to the Prophet ﷺ many times. I knew who he was and asked, are you Jibreel alayhi salam? Jibreel alayhi salam said, yes. The seeker said, what an honor to meet you. Jibreel alayhi salam then said, the honor is mine. The seeker said, may I kiss your blessed hands? Jibreel alayhi salam said, no, it is I that should kiss yours. Jibreel alayhi salam then kissed the seeker's hands and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Nothing he could do. The seeker then said, as you hugged Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once, may I hug you at least to attain some of the fares of that hug. The light is still with you. He could see it in him, the light of the hug when the first revelation came, Iqra, and he hugged the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jibreel alayhi salam then embraced me, he says, his blessed wings surrounded us multiple times. Jibreel alayhi salam then said, I was created and longed for this day, referring to the hug, to embrace him for such a long time. The time finally came and it is a moment I yearn to return to. Now it is present in the ummatis of the beloved and I gain it in his true followers. So he's referring to you. That you, not anyone else out there, if you are the true follower of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, you're doing the Miraj, you're doing the Ascension, you're doing your Tazkiyah, you're doing the 4 stages, you're abstaining from the sins of the body, mind, heart. If you're doing this. If you're not doing it, then you're not one of those people, sadly. But if you're doing these, and you're doing the Ascension, and you're trying to find the Holy Prophet ﷺ, see him, be with him, through the means of the Mashayikh. If you skip the Mashayikh, you will never find him. But if you are doing this on the right path, then this refers to you. That Jibreel will try to hug you to attain the fares from you, rather than you hugging him to attain his fares. The seeker says, there was a transfer of light between us both. I received his light of Rasulullah from the real physical hug, and he received a light of an ummati from me. The seeker says, tell me, what do you do on this night? I've learned how the majority of the angels spent it in previous years. How do you spend it? How do you, O Jibreel spend the night? And this is what Jibreel said. I spend it, and he was the seeker mentions it, that he was very sad and upset and emotional, and you could see sadness in him. He said, I spend it kissing the blessed lands on which my beloved stepped. I go back to those places where we met and talked. And I cry. This is my worship. To come back to this earth, to those places which the beloved lived and slept and walked, and where I brought the blessed revelation, it is unbearable. So his worship is just to visit. For 23 years, he brought the Holy Quran revelation. He remembers those times. He was in the company of the Holy Prophet physically. The best moments of his life were those. And he remembers them. He comes on Laylatul Qadr. Allah SWT mentions this in Surah Qadr, that angels descend and there is peace till Fajr. Jibreel is the leader of them and he brings them all. So what does he do? All the other angels worship in different ways. The Salah, different things, they do their own worship. Jibreel just goes to those places of memory of the Holy Prophet, kisses the blessed lands. So we should be thinking, what of the blessed lands of the Holy Prophet am I kissing? Where he has been, I should go, I must go and kiss the blessed. Like the blessed carpet came, Riyadh al-Jannah, it's a part of it, it has an element of it. The real Riyadh al-Jannah is in Medina Sharif. But how many of us wanted to see it? But rather than seeing it and praying upon it, how many of you preferred that someone else pray upon it? Because then you have the quality of the heart of the Prophet ﷺ, not just praying where he prayed. So then the Seeker says, but surely you can meet the Rasulullah ﷺ as often as you like. The Seeker thought, maybe you can meet him often in the spiritual world. Why is that not the case? Jibreel ﷺ said, we angels do not have the privilege that the awliya Allah have. You have the ability to enter his spiritual presence as often as you like. This is not a permission granted to us. So with their ascension, when a person does their 4 stages along with their ascension, there comes a point where they can enter the presence of the Prophet ﷺ all instantly, every time, with the blink of an eye. And they practice and they try to be there all the time. So Jibreel, we only get this twice a day. But so then this was mentioned. The Seeker then said, how often do you get to see Rasulullah? The Jibreel said, once or twice a day. We give our salam from far. It reaches him and we hear a reply. But our vision of the beloved is temporary. Our vision is temporary. We can't tolerate it. We can only have what our Lord has ordained, and that is very true. Only what Allah SWT gives the angels they have. They don't have any knowledge more than what He gives them. They don't have any status more than what He gives them. Our status cannot be increased except by Allah's will and the dua of the ummah. So you can pray for angels as well. How many of you have prayed, oh Allah, the angels of protection that protect me, increase their status? They will protect you more then. They want you. They love you more. So how many of you have prayed for them? Of course you can. You can pray for all the creation if a person wants. Okay. So then the Seeker says to Jibreel, come with me. There's not Jibreel saying, come with me. The Seeker saying to Jibreel, come with me. Seeker then says, we then visited Medina Sharif. We stood outside the blessed green dome. Jibreel turned into a little child, beginning to weep as though he's about to see his parents after a long time. Rasulullah began to come out of his blessed chambers and call Jibreel with a hand gesture, like, come. Jibreel ran and flew so fast and embraced the Holy Prophet ﷺ. It was a beautiful reunion to witness such pure love. Such pure love. So the Seeker is watching this. They hugged in such a way that they became one, and Jibreel became like a beautiful smoke or gas, which Rasulullah then breathed in. So Jibreel became extinct in the love of the Prophet ﷺ. He became as though he wasn't there, and he wanted to be immersed in the Prophet ﷺ. Rasulullah ﷺ then said to him, you will always have a place called home in my heart. Do not worry, my beloved angel. You are also my friend. You will be with me in paradise, and there I will pray that you will not be my servant but my companion. So Jibreel loves the Prophet so much, but he's not like me and you, the ummatis. You can increase your status. The more sins you stop, the more your status increases. The more you purify your mind, the more your status increases. The more you purify your heart, the more your status increases. Until Jibreel can become like a student, like that. But just imagine, he's referred to as the weapon of Allah. He's the weapon. Allah SWT uses him as a weapon. And he's becoming the student. Rasulullah ﷺ then addressed the Seeker and said, oh my son, you care for angels. So imagine we care for yourself, care for your family, care for the ummah, care for the jinn, but care for the angels as well. Be that compassionate. This is a message for you and for me. From this day, Jibreel Islam will serve you, and his serving you is serving me. So the Prophet ﷺ has assigned him or given him. The seeker says, my master, I am not worthy of such a great honor, and I do not know how to use his blessed service. I don't know how to use it. Rasulullah ﷺ then explained and guided him and said, he will destroy enemies if Allah commands. He will bring you answers if you ask. He will show you the way if you ask. He will tell you secrets of me, of the time of the Prophet ﷺ. He'll tell you secrets. He will increase your love for me. He is the teacher to a point, but there will come a time he will be the student. Those he learns from are the likes of the Ghawth and the Qutub. All others he can teach. So Jibreel Islam can teach many of the awliya Allah. What does he teach them? He teaches them about the love of the Prophet ﷺ, the time, the 23 years he spent, the incidents that happened, the hidden moments that happened that's not mentioned in Sirah. And he mentions his own love for the Prophet ﷺ. And your love automatically increases of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But there comes a time where Jibreel Islam can't teach you anymore. And that he mentions is for the Ghawth and the Qutubs. They then teach him. So the seeker then says that, oh my master, it is an honor. So he accepted. So this shows you, don't reject the blessings of Allah, accept them. Accept them, because the truth is, none of us deserve Allah's blessings. None of us. Allah SWT mentioned this in the Holy Quran. If I was to hold you to account for what you have done, there would not be a single thing left on the face of the earth. Not a single thing. So accept the blessing of Allah, don't reject it. And then use it in Allah's obedience and in His way. So then Rasulullah said this, give my salam to your teacher, my Ahmad, and to those who have gathered in Itikaaf in Bolton. So, mashallah, you should all be very, very happy and pleased. On the night of Laylatul Qadr, you all received the salam of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And that is better than Laylatul Qadr. So, tell them, then now here's the condition. So do you see, you've had the basharat, now the condition comes. Who wants to hear the condition? Only few people want. The others, they want to live in ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. I can tell you it's not, because on the Day of Judgment, the ignorant people, angel will ask them, what did you do with your tongue? What did you do with your eyes? They will say, I didn't know looking at mahram was a sin. I didn't know swearing was a sin. I didn't know listening to people's conversation was a sin. The angels will look at each other and say, we can't question this person. He didn't know anything. So go you head first in the fire. The ignorant people will be thrown in the fire without questioning. So ignorance is not bliss. So do you want to learn the condition? So mashallah. So the condition the Holy Prophet mentioned after giving salam was this. Tell them next year they should prepare to take Itikaaf to their own localities and follow Bolton from home. They know who they are. Like you have come here knowing it was time, many of them are ready. So you know it. No one has to tell you you're ready. You know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the strength to take this Itikaaf and the retreats and the workshops and the Dawah, to take it to your place, Denmark, Morocco, South Africa, America, Canada. Who else is here from different places? Holland, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Take it to your own countries, your own localities, Hyde, Oldham, Bolton, Manchester. Take it there and have hundreds of itikaafs happening at the same time, teaching all of these. You will receive far more doing that than you will by being here. The sacrifice is not really a sacrifice. It is, you are receiving more. How can that be sacrifice? So who's ready? Can I see some hands, or who's ready to do this, inshallah? So, mashallah, there are some ready. Hands high up. If you're not ready, you don't have to put your hand up, inshallah. So I see majority, maybe 90% people are saying they're ready. So, inshallah, we will see. Yes? Mashallah. Mashallah, excellent. So there you go. So you're already ready. So next year we will see, inshallah. So a part of me, the seeker says, a part of me wanted to ask for dua for others, but a part of me didn't, due to not wanting to disturb. And I knew Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam always prays for the ummah anyway. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew what the person was thinking and said, ask. So then they asked for dua, and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this: may Allah Azza wa Jal grant your children the sunnah life. May they follow in my footsteps and be in my arms. The seeker then says, I saw my children in older form that they currently are by the sides of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and a baby in their blessed arms. The seeker then said this specific dua he asked the Holy Prophet ﷺ to make. Please pray for my mother and father, my wife and brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews, that they all come on the straight path. All the ummah who are suffering, especially here in Palestine, and all those who convey the message of Tariqah Muhammadiyah. So he never forgot those who conveyed the message of the Mashayikh and of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. That all those who convey the message of Tariqah Muhammadiyah, that they accept the message first, and all the brothers and sisters in the tariq, that they have unity and follow with truth and sincerity. So he over there is praying for all the brothers and sisters. Oh Allah, oh Holy Prophet, pray to Allah that all the followers of this path, they are brothers and sisters, they become brothers and sisters, they have unity, they have truth. What does truth mean? They are steadfast on the truth themselves, and they are sincere. Because you might be outwardly steadfast, but you're not really sincere. So you have to be on the truth, and you have to be sincere. So Rasulullah ﷺ then said, Ameen, I will make a special dua on this request. Pray for the ummah. Praying for the ummah will always bring my pleasure. The vision wouldn't end. The seeker says the vision wouldn't end. Now how many of you are here and want the vision to start? This person saying the vision wouldn't end. The vision wouldn't end. And I didn't know what to ask, how to ask permission for it to end. Rasulullah ﷺ then said, you may continue with the physical matters, but stay with me throughout the night of Laylatul Qadr. So just imagine this is the Laylatul Qadr of this person, and what message they've been given, what prayer did they pray for themselves in there? Does anyone see? The person says, please pray for my mother, father, my wife, brothers, sisters, my nieces, nephews. They all come to straight path. All the ummah who are suffering, especially here in Palestine. All those who convey the message of the Tariqah Muhammadiyah, so that they accept the message, and the brothers and sisters in the Tariq, that they have unity and follow with truth and sincerity. Not once did he mention himself. So it's mentioned in certain narrations that when a person is in ibadat and worship and in munajat and muraqabah, to such an extent that they forget themselves, that is like the kernel or the thing which you're trying to achieve, forgetfulness of yourself and remembrance of the source, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's why the person cannot pray for themselves sometimes, because they forgot themselves. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't pray for yourself. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself prayed for himself. You should pray for yourself, but try to become this person who is so selfless he forgets himself at times. There is only one more I would like to share, and then inshallah there are others, but this is a guidance for you, inshallah. And this is this one. So there are some that sometimes people will not understand, but this is this one. All of them are important. How can one say they're not important? This is after returning from Masjid al-Aqsa, in the airport, some brothers were asked, physically, in the physical world, the seeker asked them, do you miss Al-Aqsa in the airport? They both said, yes, we miss it. One of them said, only when I think about it. So he had understood that you can only miss something when you think about it. Because the teachers, and they mention this often, that don't think about the other things. When you are here, when you're with your wife, think about your wife. When you're with your children, think about your children. When you're in business, think about business. When you are in learning, studying like this, pay attention here. When you're teaching, pay attention to what you're saying. When you're in salah, pay attention to salah. So that means whatever you're doing, forget everything else. Think of this and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. So now tell me, is that a bad thing if a person is in Itikaaf and they forget their family? How can this be bad? If a person does this, they forget their wife, children, they're in Itikaaf. If a person thinks of them here, when they're with their wife, they'll think of their business and they'll think of Itikaaf. When they're with their business, they'll think, oh, I miss Itikaaf. When they're in their home, they'll be sad and upset and depressed and think, oh, I wish I was back there. And the wife will be saying, or the husband will be saying that, oh, you do not enjoy my company. And the children will be like, Mom, Dad, why are they so upset? So be present where you are with full attention, because there is closeness of Allah in that moment. So never miss the moment that is more powerful for you, beneficial. So the seeker then explained to them, I explained that I miss it when I think of it, but I don't think of it. I don't think of it. Why? Because I need to focus on the pleasure of Allah in this moment. This is taught in the tariq, in the path, in the mind stage. This is taught here. Reminiscing about the past too much is not good as one loses the present moment. The Mashayikh say, become the son of time. Benefit from every time you're in. Almost immediately after mentioning this is what happened. The seeker says, I felt the spiritual presence of the spirit of Masjid al-Aqsa. The spirit of Masjid al-Aqsa came to him in Manchester Airport. I never met it while I was there, but it came to me to visit me here. It came to visit me in Masjid Airport. So now imagine the person doesn't want to think of Masjid al-Aqsa because they're trying to attain the closer to Allah whilst in Manchester Airport. So instead, Masjid al-Aqsa is coming to them. Is that not an amazing, wonderful, wonderful matter? So in the car on the way to Bolton Itikaaf, they came straight, they didn't go home. They came straight to Itikaaf. Why? Because they mention here, I didn't intend on going home as I wanted just to see my teacher and be with the brothers. So not only to see the teacher, he wanted to be with the brothers as well. So look at the love of the brothers, because to respect the teacher is also, you must respect one another. If you disrespect one another, then you have disrespected the teacher as well. So when you're sat in front of Hazrat Sahib, all Hazrat Sahib are like this, like that, and so on, this is not the real you. This is the fake you, this is acting. The real you is how you are in front of each other, especially you're living together, and the real you is how you are in front of your wife and your husband and parents. So this is the real you. All of this is acting. Even I'm acting in front of you now. So in the car on the way to Bolton Itikaaf, the blessed spirit spoke as follows throughout the night. So it continued. The person says, I saw it in the form of an elderly Palestinian man with a stick and white turban and white long beard. The blessed spirit and I hugged, and I felt transmission from myself to Al-Aqsa. So it wasn't from the Al-Aqsa to themselves, they received that there. But from themselves they were helping or giving the spirit of Al-Aqsa light. The seeker said and comforted Al-Aqsa, the spirit. Every one of these places has a spiritual spirit, a ruh. Even Ramadan has a spirit, and you can meet the spirit of Ramadan. And that's happened before. The seeker said, it will be okay. It will not be long. So he comforted Al-Aqsa. Then he asked, why are you in an elderly age? Why are you like this? The spirit of Al-Aqsa said, I am not like this because I am an ancient city. I am like this because the ummah does not visit me and I am tired. The seeker then asked, well, how does your spiritual self become tired, and what is your food? Because the spirit is very, very powerful. But why does the spirit become tired? And what's your food? Are you not having the food of the spirit? The spirit then said, my energy comes from the visitation of the ummah, the true followers. Your visitation to Al-Aqsa is what gives it food. Your feet, your steps. Al-Aqsa said, it was when the beloved came and the prophets of past came that I was at my best. Their blessed feet upon me is my food. Now that food of mine lies in the ummatis of the final messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the beloved of all. So the food of Al-Aqsa lies in your feet. Lies in your feet. So you need to visit and visit the blessed lands. Not many visit me, and much trouble for the ummatis here takes place. It is a war zone at times, and I must watch and bear witness on the day to come of all that happened. I am the witness bearer of this land. I will bear witness of your coming and of all that you did. And I will bear witness against the tyrants. Bring your followers of your sheikh. I want to meet them. So Masjid al-Aqsa, the whole land, the holy lands, imagine the holy land is saying, I want you to visit me. I want you to visit me. So why are you not visiting? So this is very important. The Masjid al-Aqsa, the Holy Prophet mentioned in a hadith that wherever, this is the meaning, wherever a person does a good deed or a sin, that earth remembers what you did. The angels remember and the earth remembers. And when you seek forgiveness and it's accepted, even the earth forgets. So if you go to Masjid al-Aqsa, Kaaba Sharif, Makkah Sharif, Medina Sharif, these places, the earth will remember you there and it will remember what you did. So Masjid al-Aqsa will bear witness for you that you came. Now look at this. The person seeker says, I could see that Al-Aqsa wanted to be with Hazrat Sahib and the participants of the Bolton Itikaaf above me. How do you value this Itikaaf? If Masjid al-Aqsa all the way over there wants to be here. If Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, the Holy Lands, wants to be in Bolton, in Medina Mosque, in this Itikaaf. So think of this. The seeker then said the same thing he said to Jibreel alayhi salam, come with me, come with me. We then entered the Zikr Majlis in Medina Mosque, here. So from the basement here, this happened in the basement, and then the spirits entered this here. The seeker then said, many of them want to visit you. Look at their hearts. So the Masjid al-Aqsa looked at the hearts of all the people. You had been following on Facebook, on WhatsApp videos. You had been reading the messages and the PDF Brother Shuaib did. You've been reading that. You wanted to come. So Masjid al-Aqsa said, Oh Allah, bring them to me and bring me to them. Bring them to me and bring me to them. The seeker then said, he asked Masjid al-Aqsa a favor. He asked it a favor for you and said, can you bear witness for them that they wish to visit you? Can you bear witness for them on the Day of Judgment that they wish to visit you? Masjid al-Aqsa said, yes, I can. So he can't bear witness that you came. He can bear witness that you wanted to visit. So then the seeker says, I pray to Allah, O Allah, grant Al-Aqsa strength and youth. The fairs of our teacher then passed directly to Al-Aqsa from this zikr gathering, and it began to transform into its youthful, strong form. So just imagine the mashayikh are such that these blessed places are benefiting from them, yet when we go there, we're sat in the presence of the mashayikh and we're thinking about the place. I can tell you, this person who reads this, when they're in the presence of the shaykh, they never think of the place that they're at. They only pay attention to the shaykh. Even if they visit Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbar rahmahullah, any of the mashayikh, if their shaykh is physically present, their full attention will be on the physical shaykh. And when if they receive a message, they'll pass the message on. But their attention is there. So the shaykh, the teacher, is the real key and the guide that opens all of this, inshallah, which is the secret. The seeker said, you will never be forgotten. You can always stay with me and I will always stay with you. The spirit then returned to the physical land and the light illuminated and it had a newfound strength. And there's a message in there for them as well. So there are other things, inshallah, but inshallah, if anyone would like to share what did you learn from this message and the Laylatul Qadr message, and then maybe we'll take some questions, inshallah. So, brother, I'm going to ask people. Brother Kashif, what did you learn from this message? Take one or two.
From Masjid al-Aqsa, when you were speaking about that we become old, or the spirit became old, and the food, I think it's the presence of the ummati, that remembrance of Allah in those places. Even though many Muslims goes to these places, but the intention or the objective is not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the place doesn't get benefit. So it's only benefits when a person goes to these places and remembers Allah, the zikr of Allah.
Yes, mashallah, excellent, wonderful. So any other practical guidance, brother? Can you show this, brother? You've been writing, mashallah.
So for that one, I just wrote one thing, which was the condition you mentioned. So people who are ready, they should take the Itikaaf to their localities and carry out similar, for example, retreats and ascension, etc.
Excellent, mashallah. So those who are ready, and it was said, you know if you are ready. You know, and you can feel it, and you know that you are. So there is this saying that a person is never ready until they have to do it. You make yourself ready when the time comes. So don't wait to be ready, become ready. So inshallah, the most important thing is these types of messages. One of them is, do these messages happen to everyone that goes and many people? No. There are many people who visit year after year after year after year, maybe 2 times a year, 3 times a year, but they don't receive this type of guidance. But imagine visiting the first time, and if people can receive this type of guidance, every day or every maqam they visit. Would you not want to become like that? Become this person. Don't think that it is a dream. This happened last week. In the last week, you were seeing these things and reading these things, and it can also be you. But you should ask the questions. Like the questions, I will tell you this. One person, the questions are very important. There's one person I know, he asked in Morocco to Mawla Idris the first, the founder of Morocco. So he was opened and he spiritually asked him this question, that there were many people coming, there were women, men, na mahram, all sorts. And they were just coming and going. And the person asked, "Oh, Ya Mawla Idris, how do you feel that there are many women coming and they don't have a hijab on? They don't have the hijab on." Now just think to yourself, what kind of message or question is this to ask? This was years ago. What kind of question is this to ask? Is this a good question? Anyone? Is this a good question? How do you feel that na mahram come here and they don't have the hijab on? Is this a good question to ask to a wali of Allah who founded Morocco, a city with hundreds or thousands of awliya Allah who lived after? Very disrespectful question. So this people, sadly like this, they don't have adab and etiquettes. And adab and etiquettes are not taught in the spiritual world. They're taught in this world, physical world. You take them from here over there. And if you don't have them when you're here, when you go there, you can do yourself harm. So learn from others who've been in presence of mashayikh, physical presence, and learn from them for a long time. Learn their adab and their way, because that will transfer in the spiritual world. But if you think, I'm opened now, and that's it, I have everything, I am great, and so on, na'uzubillah. These people here themselves, they don't think anything of themselves. Every single thing they attribute to Allah, they don't feel that they deserve reward. They rather feel they deserve punishment because they know their sins. So the significance of the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most important thing. If a person travels this journey to Allah, these are the types of things waiting for you. You are all very fortunate that even this is written and shared with you, because it could have remained hidden. It could have remained hidden. But because you're on this journey, this ascension, then inshallah, you're given a tour or taste of what is to come if you are steadfast. So don't go after the karamat, don't go after the blessing, don't go after the vision, go after the mission. Go for the mission of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. You see, there were people, they may be offended. If they're offended, then take it to the nafs and attribute or divert your anger to the nafs. There were people that gave their name and then they didn't come. And now they wish they'd came because of basharat or intercession and things like this. Can you imagine being told that you can take 100, 500, 1,000, 100,000 people to Jannah? If a person, just think of the mindset of the person who's given that, he knows he has it, he completely forgets, he purposely forgets, because he doesn't pay attention to it. If he paid attention, what would it do? Pride and arrogance would creep in. What did I say 99% of focus is on? Tazkiyah and purification. 1% on the ascension, 99% on, is there arrogance creeping in? Is there pride? Is there jealousy? Is there hate for Muslims? Am I doing this evil quality? Am I doing this good one? Am I practicing this? Is my mind, am I thinking good thoughts? Do I think bad of him? Am I preserving my eyes? Am I preserving my ears? Your eye should be facing inwards at all times. If you look at the faults of others, that is the sign you do not look at your own faults, and you won't get purified. But the sign that you look at your own faults, if you do that, you don't have time to look at other people's faults, and you will get purified. So only focus on your own faults. Don't look at faults of others, inshallah. So on that note, I will finish. And if anyone has any question regarding the journey and any of these things. You see, the question, I was mentioning the questions. The questions are very, very important. The question you ask will determine the answer you get. And try to ask the most beneficial questions. Not, oh, Ya Rasulullah, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve to be in your company. Na'uzubillah. What is the Prophet going to say? Yes, it's true, you don't deserve to be in my company. You know, it's true. Ask a beneficial question that, Ya Rasulullah, how can I please you more? What can I do to bring a smile upon your face? How can I follow your blessed footsteps? How can I submit to my teacher? How can I see you more frequently? How can I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permanently? How can I remember Allah all the time? Questions like this, practical life questions, 24 hours a day questions. Not, I'm not worthy of this, I don't deserve your vision. If you keep thinking about that, you'll keep thinking about yourself and you'll forget the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So inshallah, yes, mashallah, is there any questions anyone would like to ask? Yes, Uncle Iqbal.
Truly, maybe, and I'm talking about myself, maybe others, if they fall into that category, they need to realize as well. Maybe I'd never come to learn the adabs of the Mushai. And so that's why I don't know them.
Yeah.
So if I think I need to look inward, and I always pondered about that I don't really respect my teacher or in the way it should be, but I don't know. You read and you forget.
Yeah.
But I think the message, what I want to ask you and the brothers organizers, that maybe some of the things you need to organize so people like me who I think want to learn but are ignorant of it, and this enough for. But the message you gave is that is very powerful, because all the things which you said, it was related to the Mashayikhs. So I think my question is that we need to learn.
Yes,
we need to have the opportunity.
So this already exists, this document with the adabs of the teacher, the adabs of the brothers and sisters in the tariq, and so on. Many people in the past were given it, and it's present in the books. So can I see, put a hand up, who's read the tariq book from forward to end, beginning to end? Okay, one person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, out of maybe 50 or so. So there are adabs mentioned in there. There are adabs mentioned in different places. And now let me ask you this question. How many of you have asked what are the adabs? How many of you? 1, in your whole life, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still less than about 10% of this room have asked. Now that you know that I need to know the adabs of my teacher and the adabs of the etiquettes. What does etiquette mean? Etiquette means that in every situation you're in, there's a right thing to do and a wrong thing to do. What is the right thing to do in every situation? When I'm not with my teacher, what should I think? When I'm with my teacher, what should I think? When I'm with the brothers, how should I behave? When I'm not with them, how should I behave? When I'm in the room with other teachers or ustads, how should I think? When I'm teaching, what should I think? What's the etiquettes? When I'm sitting in a majlis learning, what are the etiquettes? The introduction person mentions these many times as well. So that's the first. So the answer to yourself, Uncle Iqbal, is that they do exist. And the second thing is that you must become a person who takes initiative and goes out there to learn and seeks knowledge, not the one who expects to be spoon-fed. The one who expects to be spoon-fed will never receive. The one who goes out to learn and search, they are the ones who benefit. And this is a Quranic principle, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions many times. When He mentions the signs, He says these are for those who reflect, for those who ponder, for those who, they're men of understanding, for those who think deeply. So the message is mentioned, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to think deeply. That means that you search within yourself and you will find the answer. Allah wants you to search, Azza wa Jal. But if you don't search, you might get the answer, but you won't value it. So sometimes you have to be made to search. And sometimes we give everything on the table, and that is, so some people does more harm than benefit. In one of the messages it was mentioned to the ilham that, Ya Allah, this knowledge is overwhelming for me. The seeker was saying, Oh Allah, I feel overwhelmed. What about the people who will hear this? And the message was given, the answer was given that those who will benefit, and the rest will be made to forget. The rest will be made to forget. It will be like a dream that this never happened. So, inshallah. So, yes, mashallah. Any other questions? Yes, but the question.
MashaAllah. Brother, I have one question. In the beginning of the session, you mentioned that all these nasihas that the seeker got, there are lessons for us to learn. So the purpose with these nasihas is that you should extract the practical messages, put them into the sheets, and make levels, and then start practicing on them. Could you share any example of how you can build levels on some of the nasihas in practical?
Yes, that's a very good question. So let's go to some of them. So this has been done with other guidance in the past, but since it's the ones that have been mentioned today, I'll mention. So if we look at the Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam one, so let's look at this. Guidance from Hazrat Rabi Bashir, Salman Farsi, Ibrahim alayhi salam, angels, Hazrat Sahaba, Hazrat Ishaq, Hazrat Sarah, Hazrat Yusuf. So in Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, this is the eye that you have, and this should be the eye that we had for the past 15 years or 20 years, however long you've been with Hazrat Sahab, you've been hearing of messages here and there. If you become overwhelmed at, oh, subhanallah, this message, this guidance came, did you hear? I hear people saying, oh, whose message was that? Whose message was it? Who did it come from? It doesn't matter who it came from, because it doesn't belong to any of us. It doesn't belong to me, it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So so people are thinking, who's the message from? They're not paying attention to the message. Then there are people who pay attention to the message, at least that's good, but they don't pay attention to the action. And then there are the people who ignore who it's from, who almost ignore the message, but focus on, with a laser focus, the action. What is the action for me? And they act upon the action. So let's read it and then we'll extract the actions. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam said, what Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned in the Holy Quran is the summary of the life lessons of the prophets. So far, nothing that you can practically take. You can make it, but we'll make it something more easier. There are other lessons, but these are the ones which you must apply the most. So the first action there is good. You tell me, what is the first action here? So he alayhi salam is saying, there are other lessons, but these are the ones which you must apply the most. That's the first level mentioned. Yes, brother. Yeah, so read the stories, the lessons of the prophets, and along with that, what should you do? What should you do? Write down the lessons from their stories. So that's the very first lesson. Who has read the stories of all the prophets? Can I see hands? Not many hands. So there's your first action. Now read the stories of the prophets ﷺ. Then you can extract lessons. It's better you read it with commentary. If you don't read it with commentary, you will misunderstand. If you read it with commentary, then inshallah you won't misunderstand. So extract the lessons from them. That's the first thing. To extract more lessons, only think about the preparation it would have taken for us to reach the levels we did. So now that's the second level. What's the level? What's this level? I'll give you a clue. It's a muraqabah. It's a meditation. What is it? So I'll read it again. There are other lessons, but these are the ones which you must apply the most. To extract more lessons, only think about the preparation it would have taken for us to reach the levels we did. So what will the person do? They will, after reading the story and writing down the lessons they've extracted and the commentary, they will sit down and do muraqabah and think of the life of the Holy Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that these stories, these life stories are for men of understanding, for people who of knowledge, for people who think. So here you're thinking, you're sitting down doing muraqabah, meditation, reflecting, and the stories, the lessons will enter your heart. That's the second level. So only think about the preparation. So you're thinking about the preparation that they had in their early life, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them go through tests to prepare them for the future. But then what do you do with that? You apply it to yourself that Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam. So you're thinking what he went through at the early stage. One day I will have to go through tests as well. What were my tests that resemble Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam's test? What were my tests? Do I have brothers or sisters fighting against me? It might not be brothers. It might be colleagues. It might be work colleagues at work. It might be tariq brothers and sisters that are against me. It might be people on the other side of the world. But how was his reaction? How can I copy that reaction? In the end, what did he do? He forgave them. So, and he guided them. So do you see, like this, a person can extract these lessons even we required preparation, and Allah also prepared us in our early lives. My life is a journey that begins with preparation for great things, to lead, to save, to free others. Some of you will have the worst starts in life, but you will have the biggest changes to mankind. There's the third level. That what was the bad thing that happened in my life? I can think of things in my life, bad things, and they form you into who you are. But what were the things happen in your life that you can use that to benefit many, many, many more people? Like Hazrat Sahib mentioned, who understood yesterday? Can I see who understood what Hazrat mentioned after Fajr about the anger? What was the reaction with the energy? Yes, brother. Yeah, that's right. So that's correct. Don't be too haughty. Don't be too quick. But there was something else about the energy. About the energy. What was it mentioned that you should do with this angry energy? Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So that's right, mashallah. So channel your energy somewhere else. Divert it somewhere else. So if you're angry at this person, what was the story that was mentioned? This person achieved something great in dunya, and people said to him, "Oh, how did you achieve it?" And he said, "Because I was angry." And they were surprised. "Oh, how you became angry and you achieved this? What do you mean?" And he said, "My family, his own family." The Holy Prophet mentioned in hadith that near the Day of Judgment, the worst enemy of a person will be their family, their wife and children or husband. So this may happen. So this person said, "My family put me down, said you're useless, you can't do anything." That anger that he had, it's natural. He didn't direct it back at them. That would have been the wrong reaction. He channeled it to prove them wrong. He channeled it somewhere else. So even that isn't necessarily the best reaction to prove them wrong, because you don't need to prove anyone anything. You need to prove to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "Oh Allah, I have fulfilled your promise that I took with you." That's what you need to prove. All other proofs and promises are not important compared to that. So anyway, he channeled the energy somewhere else. So in the same way, Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam is saying, all of you have something happened in your life. Channel that energy, that negative energy, to something positive for mankind, and then that thing that happened to you will be one of the best things that ever happened. Have you not seen these people who had major accidents and now they're on stage talking about their experience and benefiting many more people? So I know a child who every day he has to go through 5 hours worth of treatment. His mum treats him, his skin is incredibly painful. 5 hours he goes through of severe pain, putting these creams on every single day. His skin is falling off and it's tearing off, and he has to apply different creams 5 hours every day, and it's torture for him. And he sees it as a blessing, because he can go, now he speaks on stage, he's only like 15, 16, he speaks on stage, tells people about you've all been given something for a reason. It might be painful, but there's a purpose behind it. And you all have a purpose as well. So you just have to find it. So then there are others. So Brother Kashif, as you can see, even we required preparation. My life is a journey that begins, free others, and so on. Some of you will have the worst start in life, but you will have the biggest change to mankind. That's the third level. So the third level is, what happened in my life, ponder upon your life, and then try to find, how can I use this negative energy that I have, where can I divert it to make a positive change? And then you start practicing that. So the first thing is you have to find it. The second thing is you start practicing it. Like I mentioned, that sister who was abused in her early life, what did she do? She was given a purpose. Now you've understood the message Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you. Not everyone can understand Allah's message to them. She was made to understand the message, and it was a positive message every time. Now she will go and help other sisters who are going through the same thing and give them the right mindset. And she will start her charity and so on. So my life is a journey that begins with preparation for great things. So I mentioned, do not think your deprivation is a loss or a deficiency or obstacle, rather turn it into a plus. It will be beneficial depending on your reaction. So the fourth level is this: every single day when I go through a misfortune, this is in the second stage or third stage, every misfortune I go through, I need to turn this in a plus. Like Hazrat Sahib mentioned, that every failure there is success. Success is born out of failure. So whatever failure you're going through, you can bring a success out of it because of your right reaction. So that's the fourth thing. Where in my life am I failing? Okay, wherever I'm failing, I need to turn it into a success. And I can do that with your reaction. That's the fourth level. And then he, alayhi salam, mentioned, do not complain about Allah. To Allah, complain and you will be misguided. But if you complain to Allah about your weakness and hope in His help, you will be guided. So now you practice the fifth level. I'm never going to complain to Allah. The level will say, do not complain to Allah about Allah. Complain about your weakness and what the creation have done. And seek Allah's help. So you'll have the mindset, I should never say, oh, Allah did this to me, or why did this happen, and so on. You're blaming yourself and the creation. It's better to blame yourself. And the last one he mentions, never blame Allah Azza wa Jal. He is always on the side of believers. It is we that turn away first. He never turns away from us till we turn away from Him. So this is related to the other one, but a person can add a level here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is never to blame. So always, whatever happens to you, practice blaming your own nafs. So I'll give you an example. When the Imam is leading the prayer and the Imam forgets, he forgets. This is a wonderful opportunity for you. Why? It gives you a mirror to your inner self. You can think that, oh, the Imam, he's not practiced, he doesn't know what he's reciting, oh, can we get someone else? These thoughts. This shows the nafs, the state of the nafs. Or you can think automatically, he has forgotten because of my sins, because of the evil in me. I have affected him. So this shows you. So you blame yourself, you don't blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't even blame the creation, you blame yourself. The people in Palestine suffering, don't blame the Israel army and so on, blame yourself, blame me. I haven't done enough to help them. I haven't done enough to save them. So then the answer, people will think, oh, well, what should I do? Well, the answer is first start with yourself, then start with your locality, then your town, city, then country, and then all of mankind. So if you do not control your own organs and your mind and your emotions and your heart and spirit, how will you ever share the message with the rest of the world? You have to conquer yourself first. So there's the sixth level. And there are others. So like this, that's the right reaction to these messages. Otherwise, you will hear it and you'll forget it, inshallah. So don't be one of them. Become the one who benefits the most, inshallah. So. Yes, Brother Shafiq.
This was the third trip to Palestine. Was there any guidance given in regards to any pluses or negatives or of previous trips or anything at all? Was there mentioned either pros or cons or anything at all?
So, mashallah, the first thing to know is without the previous trips going, this one would never have happened. Which means that those brothers who attended the first, is it 2 trips? Those brothers that attended the first 2 trips, they have a portion of all of the blessings of this. They have a portion of it, whatever Allah wills, of the reward, because this third one wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for them. So, mashallah, Brother Ustadh Shafiq and others, they initiated the trip to Palestine, brothers Sajid and Shazad and Brother Shoaib and Javed and others, Brother Naveed. So mashallah, these brothers, is there anyone else I forgot? So that's all of them. So mashallah, these brothers initiated it. So just because there was not someone amongst them who could communicate with the Mashayikh and the Anbiya alayhimus salam doesn't mean that they are deprived. The Anbiya alayhimus salam, the Mashayikh, they still give you. They give you, you do not see. You don't see. But when you're with someone who's seeing and hearing, then you can hear. So these blessings are for them as well, inshallah. But there are conditions, and the conditions must be fulfilled. What was the condition for the intercession? First, they must be steadfast upon Sharia and Sunnah. And Sharia refers to outward Sharia and inward Sharia. The inner dimension and the outer dimension. Sunnah is the highest level, Sharia is the lowest, minimum level. They must be then they must minimum die, they need to die with Iman. That's not guaranteed. Then it was mentioned a slight form of intentional, not unintentional, intentional arrogance enters them. That means that they allowed it to come. This is why 99% focus is on there, because that comes in, everything's gone, your basharat's gone. So if a slight intentional arrogance comes in them, then not only will they not be able to intercede for anyone else, they will be in need of intercession and they may not receive it. They may not receive it. Why? Because you saw everything and you still disobeyed Allah. This is a double-edged sword. You saw Jannah, Jahannam, the Holy Prophet, you saw everything and you still disobeyed Allah, you still went astray. Double punishment is what's waiting. So this was mentioned, and then it was said that there are no guarantees for paradise. Only the Holy Prophet in their lifetime, who he mentioned will be people of Jannah, only they have guarantee. And even then, look at the mindset. One of them was Hazrat Umar radiallahu anh, and what did he used to say? He used to say, even after knowing that basharat, he used to say, oh Hanzala, he used to ask the other Sahaba, oh Hanzala, is my name amongst the list of the hypocrites? Is my name there? He asked him many times. He thought he was a hypocrite. He felt and believed he was a hypocrite. Otherwise he wouldn't have this concern. So, and he mentioned, Hazrat Umar, that if I just get a place by the shoes of the people of paradise, I would be happy just to be forgiven. Never mind anything else, just to be forgiven. The greatest thing. So how many of me and you worry, am I a hypocrite? Because let me tell you this, the sign of sincerity is that you worry that you are a hypocrite. You worry about it. And the sign that you don't have sincerity is that you have no concern about it. So yes, mashallah, never forget the conditions. The conditions are what keeps balance in you. Otherwise a person, their all basharat will be gone and they will go astray themselves. And they'll take others astray as well. So Brother Shafiq, inshallah, Mubarak for yourself and others as well. Because without those brothers, this couldn't have happened. And this is a message for all of you. If you take the message to a country, to a community that's never had it before, every expedition that goes there after, you have a part of it. The first person to start a good act, all receive the reward. And the first person to start the bad act, all sinners receive the reward. So who was the first killer? Does anyone know the first murderer? Qabil killed Habil, the sons of Hazrat Adam al-Islam. Qabil. Every sinner, every murder that anyone ever commits in all mankind, Qabil receives one of the portion of that sin. So try to be the first to enter a country, the first to take the message to somewhere, and let others follow you. And then this is sadaqah jariyah for you, you get reward. But the reward isn't even the purpose. The mission of Allah and the Prophet ﷺ is the purpose. Yes, Brother Usman. And I think, inshallah, people are maybe tired and want to rest, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is with this, the spiritual salah, or when a person meets Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My question is that, one can receive guidance from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or from Sahaba Karam, or whichever blessed personality is. How does one know that the guidance you're receiving is not from yourself? Because to me what happens is, many times I think I'm with the company of the Prophet ﷺ or whichever blessed personality, and I'm receiving guidance, but when after I've done the ascension or the spiritual salah, I'm thinking it's coming from myself, but I'm kind of be confused in that matter.
Yeah, that's fine, mashallah. So it's a very good question. So there's very important points regarding this. So the first one is that the very thought that is this me, is this not me, is a sign that it's not from you. Because imagine I'm speaking now. If I think to myself, is it me? Is it Usman speaking, or is it someone else? Then if I was thinking, is it me or is it not me? Then that shows that it must be from somewhere else. That is not me. Because I'm speaking, I know I'm speaking. I have no doubt. So when you have doubt, it shows it's not from you. It's from somewhere else. So that's the first thing. So once you realize this, that if I'm not confused, is it from me, is it not from me? This is a sign it's not from you. Yeah? And then you should just embrace it and listen and pay attention. The second thing is that the knowledge comes in two forms. Can come in many other forms, or two forms. One form is word for word. Everything you hear is everything you write and type. That's the word for word form. The second form is like a USB data transfer. Instantly, an entire book or million books can be transferred from a USB to a laptop in 1 second or few seconds. But did the laptop read through every single book and every page and every word? No, it didn't. But the entire light and the information was transferred instantly. So now, what that means is sometimes knowledge is transferred to you, so much knowledge and instantly, more than a USB can transfer to a laptop. All that is transferred, but you have to then translate it in your own words. Because it didn't come word for word, it came as one. It came as a massive transfer. So then that's why you feel like, am I putting this into my own words? It's not your own word. It's like your own words, but it's not your own words because it entered and you just have to translate that, put it into a form that people can understand. Otherwise, no one will understand it. So that's why you think that it's me, or is it not me? Because as though it's happening in your mind, but it's not you. So just listen, pay attention, turn off the thought, is it me, is it not me? Ignore that, focus on the message, and let the message come with inspiration. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will inspire. The next thing, so have you understood? The next thing is one of the first times I mentioned this openly, is this. Many of us that are opening for the first time, you have opened, but you think you've not opened. The reason you think you've not opened is this. You thought, or your nafs thought, when I open in the spiritual world, it will be there will be a wow factor. It will be exciting, it will be amazing. But when you opened and you saw something, this happened, that happened, you didn't have the wow factor. The amazement wasn't there. And that's why you're thinking, well, I was in my mind expecting a wow factor, but that didn't happen, so maybe I've not opened. Which is why you still say, oh, it's imagination and these things. So who is it that wants the wow factor? Is it the spirit or is it something else? It's the nafs that wants the wow factor. It's not the spirit. The nafs isn't the one going and traveling and seeing. It's your spirit that is traveling. So the nafs wants wow factor. What this means is you could spiritually be sitting next to the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the nafs can still be thinking something else, bored or wanting to be somewhere else, doing something else. It's mentioned in the hadith that the Holy Prophet ﷺ himself, when he was giving message to the companions, especially new ones, he would change from talking about deen to dunya and then dunya to deen. Why? It's mentioned when they became bored. Now can you imagine this? The Holy Prophet is giving nasiha and people are becoming bored. It's not the people, it's the nafs. Because the nafs requires purification and we all need to know how to react to boredom. So it's mentioned there that when they became like bored, he ﷺ talked about dunya to engage them again, to grab their attention again, to make them interact with the knowledge. And then he went back to deen again. So what does this show? This shows that if in the physical presence of the Prophet ﷺ, the nafs can be bored, because the nafs doesn't recognize, it needs purification. Nafs doesn't have intellect. That's why the nafs doesn't understand that this is the Prophet ﷺ. It doesn't understand this is the Shaykh, this is the friend of Allah. Nafs doesn't understand. The nafs sees the friend of Allah as the enemy. That's what the nafs sees him. When your nafs sees the Holy Prophet ﷺ in the message and you think, oh, I've not really seen him because I didn't have the wow factor. It's the nafs that wanted the wow, not the spirit. So don't go after this wow factor. Be aware that you will experience all these different feelings. And so the solution doesn't lie in the ascension world. It lies in this world, learning to manage your emotions and manage your feelings. When you become a master of them, no feeling or emotion can bother you. None of them can. All of them you'll have the reaction to, you'll learn the reaction. It's a skill itself. And this is taught not in the ascension, it's taught in the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beyond 4 stages. It's a nafs related matter. So it's taught, the nafs related matters are taught one-to-one. They're not taught openly like this. So if you don't have your one-to-one with the teacher and whoever they assign, then you're not going to have this knowledge imparted on you. So this is why you need the one-to-one. He who does not have the one-to-one, they're not really on the journey. Simple as that. So has everyone understood this? Can someone repeat what I've just said? Brother, who's not opened yet? Let's see. Anyone not? You had hands up before, the people who've not opened. That means everyone's opened now. Okay, yes. So brother, can you repeat what I just said, the message? This about the wow factor. Just wait for the mic.
Not to go by feelings and emotions, as the nafs will want to feel good in that. The spirit, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And so what about this? Why do people think? So very good, mashallah, that's excellent. Why do people think that? So someone else can help answer this part. So that was very good. Why do people think that they haven't opened when they have actually have? Go on, Usman. Oh, Brother Zishan, you mentioned. Why do people think that they haven't opened, but really they haven't? We have to keep saying to them, it's not imagination, it's not imagination.
They don't receive a wow factor when they experience, so they think they've not opened.
Yes, exactly. So then should you be after the wow factor? No, because then your nafs is going after something in the spiritual world. It wants that. And that's the opposite of tazkiyah. So if you understand this, inshallah, then the spiritual journey becomes a lot easier, because you have to manage your emotions even there as well. Here and there. So, alhamdulillah. On this note, what I would like to do is this. I want to put you in groups of 3. Everyone needs to stand up, so no sitting down. Be in groups of 3, and from the entire messages of this session, what I want you to do is extract the 3 most beneficial lessons for you that you're going to take away today. It might be the 3 reactions to sin. It might be the guidance Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. It might be what I said to Brother Shafiq about being the first one. It might be the Shaykh is the ultimate key for a person, and realizing that. It might be 99% of the path of the attention is on the path, the 4 stages, 1% is on the ascension. That doesn't put down the ascension. The ascension is very important, but the 99%, that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask you about. So 3 lessons or 3 things you learned that you will take away the most beneficial as a group. So inshallah, now if you get into groups of 3, we'll take some of those answers, then we'll finish and have rest, inshallah. Uncle Iqbal. Uncle Iqbal. Wasim, can you play the video? Or is it? No. Oh yeah, play. Yeah.
شكرا
We're on the way to the best lands of Palestine. right? Yeah, and we're making a wonderful thing with Umrah. Everyone is invited. So in a similar way, you are also invited, and hopefully one day you'll accept that.
يا منزل القرآن يا خالق الإنسان يا رب يا رحمن شكرا يا رب شكرا يا رب يا منزل القرآن يا خالق الإنسان يا رب يا رحمن شكرا يا رب شكرا يا ربي شكرا
Please go ahead. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Can I just have your attention for a second? There's a couple of cars that are blocking people, and it's really, it's inconveniencing people, and that's the last thing that I think we should do. If you've got a BMW or white BMW, the registration PE60 WUP, that's your BMW. A white BMW PE60 WUP. That's your white BMW. Please, there's somebody waiting. It's in the car park, and that's blocking somebody in. Also, there's a black
and from that wall,
Seat Leon, and the registration is CX61VXP. I don't think that's ours, but you never know. It's really parked on the road on the side there, and that's blocking somebody's garage as well. So either one of these cars, please, they need moving immediately. Jazakallah.
Points. So the three things which you found most beneficial from all of the guidances.
Yeah, brother, we can mention each one.
So what we did, we tried to pick a point each.
A bit louder, closer.
We tried to pick a point each, and then that way we get the 3 points. So for myself, I think the main point was, like you mentioned, the 99% and 1% ratio. So the focus should be on the 4 stages, the 4 stages of the course, and then 1 stage should be for like the ascension, amal, etc.
Yeah, mashallah, excellent. It's a very good one to take away.
There are so many, but let me just mention one of them. One of them is that the visions that we have in the ascension, make a diary, put down the lessons, and actually make an accountability on yourself if oneself is applying them in the practical life or not, actually. Otherwise it's useless, just a dream.
Assalamu alaikum. The example that Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, I think they gave that with the river, that when you are thirsty, then drink the water and give to the other. Yeah.
Read the stories of the prophets and take the lessons and do muraqabah, remembrance of those lessons.
Assalamu alaikum. I think the lesson about channeling negative energy was very important, because I'm sure every single person will always have negative energy at one point. So it's important to use it to benefit yourself and others.
Excellent.
When you do dua to Allah Ta'ala, not to complain that Allah Ta'ala, you haven't done this for me, or you've let me down, or whatever. It's to actually put over that, what is your weakness that you want help from Him, and to guide you in the right direction.
Yeah, mashallah. Excellent.
Whenever you do a sin, you continue to do your good deeds, but increase your good deeds, the number of good deeds you do.
Mashallah, the best reaction.
One thing I'm going to take away from today is that an angel like Hazrat Jibreel Islam doesn't only gets to see Rasulullah twice, and we as ummatis we have as much, we can see them as much as we want really if we do the transfer and do our tazkiyah and purification. So inshallah I'm going to focus more on that. Jazakallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Concentrate on some of the leaflets which, and if this opportunity comes as well, and maybe do that in a booklet form. I'm doing Dawah material and aim to do it more, and already inshallah planning 4 or 5 days in each different places to do Dawah after the Itikaaf, and alhamdulillah look at adabs of the Sheikh. I'm going to inshallah search that and sit with people. Really, that will be my aim, to learn and sit with people and learn it. So that's jazakallah.
Excellent.
Spread the message without being asked.
Mashallah,
Yeah.
what a wonderful one you've chosen.
Not to become the slave of your nafs.
For me, it was when you mentioned about the Prophet ﷺ, where the place where they ascended, the Prophet ascended into the heavens and the angels descended, and that it wasn't the Barak that took the Prophet ﷺ, it was the Prophet ﷺ took the Barak. So it was all these things that the Prophet ﷺ actually honored. So really, that lesson I took was actually adopting prophetic character such as humility, etc.
To take the initiative to spread the message and not be expected, not be told. If you feel you're ready, and even if you're not, just to do it and prepare at the time.
Just want to take with me that when we're doing muraqabahs, not to expect too much. Start from, because what this actually is happening. This is the second time I've come. And it's like when we done the muraqabah this morning, something happened, but I thought, nah, it's not. I thought I saw something, but though it's not. Nah, I can't, because we were maybe expecting something different.
Yeah. Excellent. So you saw that happens to everybody, but no one mentions it because no one wants to say, oh, I expected it to be wow. No one wants to say that, but it's the truth that the nafs is expecting a big wow, it doesn't get it, and then you think that, oh, I haven't really seen. So don't expect the wow, and then because the nafs doesn't understand, it doesn't have intellect. So mashallah, very good, you understand this, and then you realize the difference between the spirit and the nafs as well. Spirit's traveling, nafs wants enjoyment. Keep that aside.
Assalamu alaikum. There's quite a few really. The course self-purification, so you mentioned 99% and the 1%, so that one. So continue doing the course. And second, when you mentioned about the Prophet ﷺ, like taking the bag off their shoulders. So I was just thinking in my mind about Hazab and taking it away from their shoulders and maybe implementing it in our locality as well, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Obviously, as brothers have mentioned, there's many lessons you can derive from this nasiha.
one of the ones that I want to implement into my life is accepting the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and never to reject them, instead to use it in His obedience, because many a times a calamity befalls us and we need to have the right reaction towards it instead of seeing it in a negative manner. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum. The two most important ones for me I would take is the 99% purification, 1% ascension, and also the wow factor, but spiritual ascension.
The which factor? The
So,
wow factor.
The wow factor, yeah. So those are two main important ones I'll take away, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. One main thing which I took is basically knowing the value of the teacher. As you mentioned earlier, like even Angel Jibreel Islam, he benefits like from pious people as well. So truly knowing the teacher, and also what my brother mentioned earlier, that's another factor which I was thinking as well, like assisting them taking the, like you said, off the shoulder, the burden.
Assalamu alaikum. I think the message when the Prophet ﷺ said to spread the message, take it to your localities, and then you added to that, you said the Prophet ﷺ said the people know who they are, and then you said that you have to make yourself ready, you have to step forward even if you think you're not ready for it.
MashaAllah, excellent.
Bismillah. So maybe the teaching of Maulana Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, when they said that to focus on the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not with the connection to any place or anything else, and to pay full attention to the moment, to the here and now, and to seek the pleasure of Allah in that moment.
Wonderful, mashallah.
Assalamu alaikum. It's to do more dawah work in our locality, especially you mentioned with workshops, retreats, to do more and not to give up. And to do for the purpose of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes we have this nafs, it's me, I've done it, but it shouldn't be like the purpose, pleasure, should be for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Whenever you got anger, always try to delay your action, except for few conditions, i.e. there is a mehman in your home, give him food as quick. If you owe debt, pay the debt as few more. But it's shaitans who's force you to make action. So always try to delay your anger action. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum. For me, I think it's the purification and taking lessons from the stories that inshallah I'm going to read and applying them to obviously our daily lives.
Assalamu alaikum. For me it's totally purification, 7 organs, and first month or second month is very crucial where we fell off. And if I'm successful in these, my main worry even before come here, my neighbors, they are non-Muslims. I have so many times felt very painful because they are good, they are helping each other, and I am saying they are going without iman and nobody giving them a dawah. And this is my main worry. If I purify my organs, even without, I have to do with them, whatever it is. Please pray for me.
For me, it's the way we look our downfalls and sins, because often we become disheartened when we fall, but we're still in that preparation phase, so we should carry on, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preparing us for bigger and better things.
Assalamu alaikum. For me, I would say coming here has been a very wonderful experience, and I've learned quite a lot. And obviously, we all have bad habits, and need to drop the excess baggage, the bad habits, inshallah. And I've seen a lot here, and I've met a lot of beautiful brothers here, all welcoming. I just need to focus more, contain and maintain. And I'd like to say, I'd like to give biggest thanks and alhamdulillah to our teacher. I'd like to say alhamdulillah and biggest thanks to our teacher for welcoming us up here, and it's been such a beautiful blessing. And also I have experienced a lot of things which is absolutely beautiful. It's out of the universe. It's just amazing, I've come here before and I'm experiencing more now, more and more. I'm getting to like this, and it's not just about learning. I just need to give this dawah to the whole of mankind and the whole universe, inshallah.
You just remember that your feelings and emotions are not the objective. Sometimes we will feel happy, peaceful, other times we will not. If you make your feelings your objective, then it becomes the path of misguidance, because you're here in this retreat. If you don't feel a certain way that you thought you would feel, then you might decide, I'm not going to come again. But what did I say? If you have made such a person your friend, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your enemy. Who is that person? It's the nafs. If the nafs is your friend, Allah becomes your enemy. You've made Allah your enemy. And if you make your nafs your enemy, then Allah becomes your friend. So emotions are related to the nafs. So you should never be after something that the evil nafs wants. It wants happiness, it wants peace, it wants pleasure, it wants satisfaction, it wants all these wonderful feelings. But if you want what that wants, the evil nafs wants, you won't want what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. Because Allah is not a feeling, azza wa jal. So try to separate yourself from feelings, and they're not the objective. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might be pleased with you, and you are going through difficulty, and you might be the happiest person, but Allah is displeased with you. So your feeling really is not directly connected with Allah. There is a sign, but feelings itself is not as such. So inshallah, mashallah, it's wonderful.
For me will be purification and spread the message.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I've been on the path now near enough 10 years, on and off. And normally we've just come for a weekend here and there, tick box, because we bring new brothers. And this time Allah guided us, and it was truly from Allah that it just worked out well for us to come. And it just blows my mind about how the undervalue we give to the purification course, especially the mind level. It's two things that yourself has said even just now, when the mum forgets that, obviously yourself is one of our senior ustads, that you don't blame it on the mum, you blame it on yourself. And what was upset this morning, that the example of the microwave, that the takeaway guy, like, to me, was like, this is bad service he was giving the uncle. But how the mindset changes, how the game changes. So we would just, to me, the focus is, inshallah, go back and really appreciate the course and ignite ourselves more in spreading the message in our locality. And just one final thing I would say, that like me and Brother Shokot were discussing it last night, and he was like, no, we should do it in our local masjid, we should spread the message. But my feeling was, no, I want to come back again next year, do the 10 days. And now yourself, you just hit it again, that it's not the nafs, because the feelings is what the nafs wants, but Allah wants something else from us, So, Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum. So I took away that I need to learn the etiquettes when with the teacher, and the other to learn about the lives of all the prophets, and then to take away and sort of note down their reactions so that I can start applying that to my life.
Assalamu alaikum. Usman is really, it's more, if you commit a sin, do extra good deeds, and the other thing is that be more grateful in life and be more appreciative of the things you have got than not what's missing in your life. That's what
MashaAllah, wonderful. Excellent. And the last few, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. I think the one that stands out for me is live in the moment. So wherever you are, just just live the moment wherever you are. So if you're in Itikaaf, just concentrate here. Then when you're at home, then be with the family.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean you can't ring home. When you ring home, you think of them then. But when you're here, you're here.
Assalamu alaikum. I will do my tazkiyah first. Then, inshallah, then I will help the people for the sake of Allah Ta'ala.
Assalamu alaikum. For me personally, it's tazkiyah. I've learned that's 99% is preparation of the spirit before ascension. So once you learn that, that's a whole game changer. Also, the second part is live in the moment, pay attention to where you are, like you said, because a lot of people want to go back to Makkah or Masjid al-Aqsa, for example, but bring that spirit with you wherever you are, and just to pay attention to the moment. I can appreciate that.
Excellent takeaways.
Assalamu alaikum. For me, it was refocus on tazkiyah.
I have a little story regarding living in the moment. When we first went to Morocco, about 10, 11 years ago, and one morning, about 3 to 4 days into the trip, Hazrat Sahib called me in the morning, about 4 days later, and they said, "Brother Shafiq, have you rang home?" I said, "No, Hazrat Sahib." They said, "Ring home." So I thought, oh my God, Hazrat Sahib's had a kashf, something terrible's happened at home, and I haven't rang. So I ran up to Brother Said. I said, I need to. I rang home, and I spoke to my missus. So I said, "Is everything okay?" She says, "Yes, everything's okay, alhamdulillah. But you haven't rung home for 4 days, and we don't even know whether you got to Morocco safely." It was when I first started, and I learned a valuable lesson, that live in the moment. But when you have time, inform other people, because she had to go into all this trouble to get Hazrat Sahib's telephone number, and then ring Hazrat Sahib to ask if her husband was okay and all. So yes, live the moment, but live practically. Just like that.
So alhamdulillah, Allah ka shukr. So inshallah, now is the real time for test begins. And I said to the brothers in Palestine that the test isn't over when we come back. The test has only started. So when we arrived back, the real test starts then. Why? Because you're not in that company anymore. You're separated. And when you're separated, that's when shaitan attacks, that's when nafs attacks more. When you're together, it's easier. So similarly, all of you here in Itikaaf, this is easier because you're together, you're in good company. When you go out there in the real world, then the test begins. So prepare yourself, and imagine that before Itikaaf you were on level 1. In Itikaaf you're on level 10. So where should you be after Itikaaf? Where do you think? Between level 1 and 10, where do you think you should be? Level 11 or level 5, 6? Okay, mashallah. As long as you're above level 1, that's a good sign. Because level 1 is where you were before Itikaaf. Level 10 is where you are now. In Itikaaf, there's no work, there's no dunya, there's no people, no husband, wife, no children. When you go back, there will be a natural dip. So expect it. Expect it. But at least try to be a level be above where you were before. And that, if you do that, you have achieved Itikaaf and the success of Itikaaf, inshallah. If you go above level 10, that's rare, very rare. If you maintain level 10, that's rare. If you just be above level 2 up to level 8, 9, then alhamdulillah, that's wonderful. So expect the dip, but prepare for it, inshallah, and take away the lessons which you've all mentioned. The most important one for you, everyone's was different because you're all different. So on that note, inshallah, I'd like to finish, and inshallah we'll make dua, and then we can rest, inshallah. So subhanakallahumma bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulih al-kareem. O Allah, Lord of the heavens and the earth and everything that is in between. O Allah, guide all of the brothers and the sisters who are sitting Itikaaf, who are watching from home, who are participating, whether sunnat or nafal. O Allah, bless them and accept their Itikaaf, accept their Ramadan. accept their fasting and their night worship and their tarawih. Oh Allah, accept all of it. But one most important thing, oh Allah, let them not lose it all. Oh Allah, enable them to purify all their organs, body, mind, heart, spirit, everything, so that they can maintain and preserve all their good deeds, and then that their good deeds can be multiplied and multiplied more and more. Oh Allah, help all the brothers and sisters to take away the lessons and the purification, the guidances from the Mashayikh, from this blessed Itikaaf, those who have already gone and those who will go, to the rest of the world, not just our localities. Oh Allah, if there are people on the moon, give us the mindset to go to the moon. Oh Allah, wherever the people are, enable us to firstly save ourselves, then save the rest of mankind. Oh Allah, enable all these brothers and the sisters to open in the spiritual world so that they can see your beloved messenger, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Enable them to fight their nafs so that the nafs can go to sleep and their spirit can benefit and be immersed in the reflection of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this world and in the hereafter. Oh Allah, oh Allah, we beseech you, oh Allah, forgive us for our major sins, our minor sins, our hidden sins, our open sins, our knowing sins, and our unknowing sins. Oh Allah, whatever the Holy Prophet ﷺ has asked from you, we ask for that as well. Whatever he ﷺ has asked for protection from, we ask protection from that as well. Oh Allah, for surely you know better what is best for us and we do not. Oh Allah, we ask you to grant the Mashayikh of Tariqa Muhammadiyya and all the Mashayikh, Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabar, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani, Sayyidina Ahmed Khidir, rahmahullah, and all of the great mashayikh of this entire silsila and all of them of the world. Oh Allah, grant them the best of all rewards. Oh Allah, the best of all rewards is yourself. Oh Allah, you are the greatest reward. There is no replacement for you. Oh Allah, we ask you, grant them and reward them with yourself. Subhana rabbika izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Now, my dear brothers, you have break time till Asr. So get your head down, get 40 winks. Also, the teaching of Hazrat Sahib yesterday, that do your lataifs and the dua and preparation before you go to sleep, inshallah. And then Asr Salah is at 7:30, so be ready before then, so wake up about 7 o'clock. Jazakallah.